All right, fight fans, here we go. We are live on MMA Weekly, streaming across the world for UFC 266. Volkanovski versus Ortega, Shevchenko versus Murphy, Lawler versus Diaz, Blades versus Rosenstruik. We got some huge fights here this evening. One of them is already in the books. A quick night of work for Jessica Andrade, the title contender, her last time out against Valentina Shevchenko. Suffered a loss in that fight. Of course, she's also the former 115-pound champion. She made quick work of Cynthia Calvillo tonight, and that was a very impressive performance by Jessica Andrade to pick up that win. Andrade right back in the win column by TKO, first round at 4:54. Man, the main event on the prelims was incredible too. Marlon Moraes looking to get back in that win column. Looked like he was going to do it early on against Merab Dvalishvili, and Dvalishvili actually was able to win that fight. And man, I'll tell you what, it was just an unbelievable finish by him. He came back in the first round, almost finished Moraes then, and then right after that, Marlon just kind of disappeared. He survived the end of the first round, but that one ended at 4:25 of the second round. So Marlon Moraes loses yet again, but that was a tough fight. And now we have the big boys coming up, Curtis Blades and Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Of course, we'll have the podium tonight. We're still awaiting some of the winners from earlier, so we'll go here this evening. But I'll tell you what, man, I'm live on site in Gilbert, Arizona. Really pumped to be here, guys. And in the presence of greatness, Henry Cejudo, Triple C, is here tonight. And I'll tell you what, we are going to talk to Henry after tonight's main event, Ortega and Volkanovski. If Brian Ortega is able to score that win and take the title tonight, it'd be a big thing for him. But I would say, man, that's a Volkanovski fight that Henry Cejudo has been wanting for a long time. So if Volkanovski wins, I have a feeling we might get a call from Triple C here tonight. And I'll tell you what, man, that'd be pretty badass. But Henry's in the building, the greatest combat sports athlete of all time. We've got some fighters coming to the podium here soon, and that's Dan Hooker. Let's go to the podium in Vegas. Dan Hooker on MMA Week.
First round, he'll wait for me to commit to anything and then step through over the top with his hands. So I just made the right adjustments and kind of just gave him a taste of his own medicine and just went away from his strengths. Like, if he's going to just do that, I'm just going to make the adjustments. I'm just grabbed a hold of him and felt I was a lot stronger than he was, and I just used it to show how well-rounded I am.
I know you sort of made like it's not a big deal and stuff like that, but now you've had the fight and you've won the fight. How hard has this last training camp been with the lockdown and everything like that?
Oh, very crazy. This like a bit of an undersell, but it's just been like pretty much everything that could go wrong went wrong in this training camp. Like, it was crazy, bro, to I signed this fight. Maybe that was like the bad thing about it. Like I signed this fight on the Sunday, and then Tuesday we went into just a full lockdown. Like everything shut down. But Huge came up with like a quick plan to move everyone to the gym, and then cops come shut that down. And then I trained in the gym, got caught there. Cops come shut that down, and they just told me, man, we catch you doing anything one more time, and we're gonna arrest you. So I was just training the last 4 weeks. I've just been training in my house, in my garage, just shadowboxing, staying sharp, going to the track with my wife and my daughter for the last 5 weeks. So that was like, that was challenging, getting yourself up for that. Like, like getting yourself down there, working hard, pushing yourself every single day, like a couple of times of the day, working like that was, it was hard to get yourself up. So then when I was getting the visa issues, I was like, man, everything that I've done to get myself out of bed every single morning and push myself by myself to get to this moment, and for you to take that from me, I'm not having it. Turned to social media, got everyone behind me, and it's not the first time. Like I've turned to social media in the past before to get myself in the UFC in the first place. I think it was harass for the hangman was the hashtag, and we used that. And I used that social media campaign to get myself in the UFC. So when I was faced with a problem I couldn't solve, I went back to the people that got me there. You know, I don't fight for this Sport New Zealand or anything like that. Like I'll fight for the Kiwis back home that have my back. Those are the people that I step in the octagon for.
You know, you've done this a lot of times, right? You know how to fight, but after a training camp like that, where it is just yourself and shadowboxing stuff, is there any part of you that think, man, I might not perform to the best of my abilities in there? Is there any sort of self-doubt as you head in and out to the cage?
No, I feel like this last camp, been working with some, you know, after the last loss, and I've taken losses in the past before, and, you know, you throw your toys out the cart and you start again from scratch and you like rebuild. I didn't do that this last time, you know, because I know that my team, I know how good my team is and the people who are around me. So rather than take anything away and replace it, I kept my team. I backed them, and I backed myself, and I added some new people to the team. A couple of David Neath, like mental performance coach back in New Zealand, so I added him, and also, you know, some new looks with David Eagle, and he's also been helping my game a lot. So I added to this. I didn't take anything away because my team's incredible. I added two people, David Neath and David Eagle, into this camp. And then
post-fight, caught up Beneil Dariush. What's the
He's the only one sitting there without a fight. If you look at the rankings, every single last one of them's booked except Tony Ferguson and Beneil Dariush. They just fought, so it doesn't make sense for that fight to happen again. So Beneil Dariush is sitting there without a dance partner, and that gets me out of bed in the morning. That gets me excited. A fight like that, I like the look of his little number there, so I would love to take that off him.
No interest in our man?
I already got that fight. You know what I mean? Why do you need to ask for something you already have? I already got him holding on to my pocket. I already got him. I already got that boy chasing me around the playground, if you know what I mean. There ain't no point asking for something you already got.
Last thing for me. You guys have spoke about moving to the States. Do you have any timeline on when that might be?
Oh man, that's up to my coaches. I'm just a body on the mat. I'm just another guy in the gym. It's my coaches that make all those decisions. I don't make any of the big decisions like that.
Right. At the beginning of round 3, I think from the outside looking in, it seems like Nasrat knew he was down 2 rounds and probably came out guns blazing, knowing he needed the finish. And the broadcast team maybe were wondering if you felt fatigue at all from not having the best camp, maybe like an unstructured camp. So did you feel any fatigue set in round 3?
Nah, like, yeah, he was down 2 rounds, he needed to do something, and then your opportunity to do that is in the start of that round. You know, this is not my first rodeo. I knew that was his opportunity. I knew that that's what he was doing. So what? If I stand there and throw back, I'm giving him exactly what he wants. Like, what am I going to do? Don't be silly. Just wait till he slows down a bit. He slowed down, I grabbed a hold of him and worked to my strengths and used my advantages.
And on the Beneil Dariush, what did you make of his win over Tony Ferguson, his performance? Like, what did you make of Beneil's performance?
When was that fight?
That was May, I think.
Oh man,
in Houston.
What card was that?
That was the Charles Oliveira, Michael.
Oh man, I was so pissed. I thought Michael Chandler won watching that fight back in New Zealand at my mate's house. So I can't even tell you how that fight went down.
What do you think of the lightweight fight that's coming up? Lightweight title fight between Poirier and Oliveira in December.
Yeah, I feel like Poirier's got that fight. I feel like he's I feel like he's got the advantages in that fight. I feel like he gets it done.
And what's the process of getting home? Is it just you have to quarantine 2 weeks when you get back?
Yeah, so that's why I pushed so hard to get on this card, because I had a spot to get back in New Zealand. Like that's why I made a fight where there was no fight. People got the wrong end of the stick when they saw this card and saw where I was on the card and saw who I was fighting. They were like, oh man, the UFC's kind of disrespecting Dan Hooker after a couple of main events and a co-main event, and they've chucked him down, and that's just really not how it went down. The UFC did me a solid. Sean Shelby did me a solid. He created a fight where there was no fight. I pretty much just started doing interviews and was just telling everyone that I was fighting on UFC 266. And then, like, I started telling Sean, and he called me like 5 weeks ago, and he's like, Dan, I don't have like a space on that fight. Like, I don't have an opponent. Like, there's no one in the ranks that can fight you. And I was just like, Sean, this has to happen. Like, this is just happening. So I like willed it to happen. And I feel like if I wasn't Dan Hooker, I feel like if I hadn't have done all the heavy lifting that I've done over the last few years for the UFC, that they wouldn't have made this fight happen. So credit to Sean for making this fight. Credit to Nasrat for stepping up to the plate and taking a fight, which, man, last 5 months I've been trying to fight everyone in the rankings. They can say what they want to say, but I could show you my phone with the emails just being like, Dan, there's no one. Dan, there's no one. So actually, Nasrat just DM'd me on Instagram and was just like, hey, I heard you're looking for a fight. I'll fight you. And I just said, quit selling, boy. It's sold. Let's go.
Did you say anything to Nasrat after the fight? I know you both went through kind of similar situations getting here.
He I just went up, yeah, thanks for the fight, bud. And then he was like, hey, I thought we were going to throw down. Like, you're a wrestler now. You're going to throw down. I said, you're having a go at me. You're staring at me for 5 minutes waiting on me, and now you're giving me shit for taking you down. I was just giving you a taste of your own medicine, but that's all that was.
Dan, to your right over here. Nick Diaz is coming back tonight, and I know you've expressed interest in fighting him and Nate, before this fight. Nate in the building, you want to try and set that up now?
I feel like it's chasing unicorns, like waiting for that fight. Like, to be honest, my priority is the title. Like, if that fight came to fruition, I would 100% take that fight. But my eyes are firmly fixed on the title. Like, anything that comes outside of that can come. But man, that gold belt around my waist, like, there ain't nothing that's gonna stop me from getting my hands on it.
Was it kind of nicer to be lower on a card rather than like a main event or in a really high-profile spot in terms of like the pressure tonight? Pressure for me is I'm under as much pressure as I put myself under. Like, I don't feel any external pressure. I feel like if I put pressure on myself, I feel pressure. But whether you put me in a pub in Auckland with 10 people there, or whether you put me in the main event of a pay-per-view, like, you're gonna get it. I'm gonna fight the same way that I fight. Congrats, Dan.
Thank you.
Dan, right over here. You're the reaction of your country to the pandemic. I was wondering what your general overall thoughts were to that, especially when you come over here and you're fighting in front of a crowd of about 17,000 people and most aren't wearing masks.
Oh, brother, I'm a cage fighter. Like, that's my political expertise and my fifth form science. 70% or 60% in fifth form science is probably not. I'm not educated enough on the topic to give a public statement. I can just speak from my personal experience, where it's impacting me pretty hard in the way that I train and the way that I fight. So rather than sit on my hands and complain about it, I'm working through it, I'm pushing through it, and I'm going to continue to chase my dreams.
After the fight, you had words of praise for your opponent, Nasrat, and you know, you went through a lot of adversity getting here, and then you said, you know, it didn't even get up to the level of what he went through. How important was that for you to give him his due while you're there in the octagon?
Yeah, I just wanted to, because that's just the fact of the situation. Like, losing a mother is something that I've never experienced, so it's something that I can't even comprehend what he's going through to get here, or what he went through to get here. So it's very difficult for me, like, training in my garage compared to losing a mother, like this. That's incomparable. What he went through to get here should really get a lot of credit and a lot of respect. I feel like he's a talented young kid. I feel like he's got a massive future in the sport. It was just a bit much too soon, but he'll learn from it. He'll grow. He'll come back, and I'm sure we'll see each other again in the future.
What words did you share with him?
Besides giving each other shit after the fight, that was that was all it really was. Like, I'm sure we'll talk again, or I'll see him around and catch up and have a proper conversation. But
Congrats.
Dan, in the middle. Israel Adesanya had said that he was not going to fight again in his home country because of how you were treated. Have you talked to him about that, and how do you feel about his demonstrative statement?
I can definitely see where he's coming from. I can definitely see he's speaking from the heart. He's upset about the situation, and I feel like the powers that be showed their true colors. I feel like Sport New Zealand, I feel like the bigwigs in the media back home in New Zealand, they've just kind of been playing nice with us because we've been getting so much attention for the country. They've been playing along, playing nice of us, and then they saw opportunity to put a lid on us or put a cap on us, and they showed their true colors of what they really wanted to do, which was stop MMA and the UFC getting massive in New Zealand. But it's a part of New Zealand culture. Combat sports is a part of our DNA in New Zealand, and we're going to push through no matter what. So when I say that, yeah, I'm willing to come over here and move to the States to continue. It's not because I want to move away from New Zealand or take anything away from New Zealand. No, I want to keep the ball rolling for New Zealand. I want to keep the ball rolling for my people. I don't want to just go back home and stay in my house and shut up and stay quiet and do what they want me to do, which is not train, not fight, sit on my hands, shut my gym down, and not continue to grow the sport in New Zealand. No, I'm not going to take that. I'm going to continue to train. I'm going to continue to fight. I'm going to continue to make sure that the UFC and MMA in New Zealand has a massive future, and it's not going anywhere. So the powers that be, in the way that I say that, can kiss my ass, because we are not going anywhere. We are a sport. We are a part of New Zealand culture, and it's going to be there for a very long time.
Ooh. Oh.
Do like this. Easy. Can we do it now?
Marab, so a lot of people right here on the left, a lot of people saying that might be one of the best bantamweight fights of all time. Now that you've had some time, what do you think of the fight?
My coaches just told me about it, but I'm just happy to have a win tonight, and win is win for me, and especially for against like this strong opponent Marlon Morales. I'm just happy for win.
First question, just how close were you? How close did you feel you were to being knocked out?
I got hurt, but you gotta kill me to stop me. You know, I'm a warrior, and I survived, and I was fighting, and I take him down after. I was hurt, but like not like this. I tell you, you gotta kill me to stop me.
Late in that first round, after you'd taken all of those shots, it just seemed like he got tired, and then you recovered very well. You were able to finish the round on top. Can you just talk about that moment where you were able to finally get him on the ground again?
Yeah, I think as soon as he rocked me, and I try to get him clinch, and I take him down, and I was fine after this. Once I take him down, and that was fight. I was in a fight, and I was keep fighting, and I was in the fight. That's it.
You've been doing so well for so long, but I think a lot of people would say this is Merab's moment. He has finally cracked into the conversation. Merab, we found out your friend Aljo is not going to be able to fight coming up in October. If the UFC calls you, would you fight Petr Yan?
No, Aljo will fight Peter. Aljo will dominate him, and then it's not. I don't think it's. Official yet, but we will see. So it's just I don't know. I think it's fake news. I'm not sure, but no, I'm just gonna fight somebody top 5, somebody big name. I just wanna enjoy Aljo how to beat Peter. I respect all the fighters, and then everybody. But if you ask me who I don't like personal as a fighter, I will say Peter. I respect everybody, but he a little bit cocky. So, and then whatever. So, and anyways, Aljo will go to beat him, and everybody will see this.
Have you talked to Aljo since they said that he is out of the fight, and what did he say?
No, that was just 2 hours ago. Aljo, don't tell me anything. I was just getting ready for fight. He don't wanna me tell me something about. I just read the news, but Aljo, I know how hard work he works for this fight, and he try his best to keep fight October 30th, and then like some doctors tell him you're not clear for this fight, and like something like doctors telling him, but he wants the fight. He prepare mentally. He's prepared fighting October 30th.
And my final question, then not Petr, is there somebody you want now coming off of this win?
Hey man, whoever, come get it. I don't care. Just.
One of the knocks on Marlon in his last fights is he kind of blows his gas tank very early in the fight. So when you did get hurt and you survived that, and then you went after him, could you feel him getting tired and his fatigue lowering in that fight?
Not right away. When I land him some elbows, and I take him down. I have good control, and I land him good elbows, and then. But he was, I felt it. I felt a little bit, but he was still fighting. And then, like one moment, I said, I feel bad for this guy. I was keep hitting him. So and then he get up and he tried to take me down. I'm like, no, I gotta fight hard, and I know this is me or him. This is kind of business we are in. So we are fighting. I have big respect for him, but that's what we do.
Daniel Cormier on the broadcast was surprised the referee let the fight continue when you were on top punching him. Were you surprised that the referee didn't stop the fight at certain moments? It looked like you had knocked him out at one point, and then he woke up when you punched him again.
Yeah, but my job is keep fighting before referee stop me, and I was in this fight, and like one moment I said before, I said it's enough, it's too much already. I hit him too much, but he got up and he tried to take me down. I said, like everything happened. I said, he's warrior. I'm sure, I was, I was in. Like I said before, first second to last second, I'll be in. I will fight. Doesn't matter. So and I think after I got him a couple elbows, that's where he broke. Thank you. thank you everybody. I want to say something Georgian. ყველას ძალიან დიდი მადლობა ქართველებო გულშემატკივრობისთვის და ყველაფერი წინ არის. UFC-ს ქართველი მებრძოლები ძალიან კარგად გამოდივართ UFC-ში. გიგა, რომანი, გურამი, ილია, ლიანა და იმედია მალე დაგვემატებიან სხვებიც. მოკლედ მადლობა ყველას გულშემატკივრობისთვის, ყველაფერი წინ არის და დიდი მადლობა კიდევ ერთხელ ყველას. Thank you everybody.
Sorry about that.
Oh, sorry about that, guys. Little habit I picked up watching the quiz shows.
There we go. All right, guys, we're back. I think we got this. Merab with a big win tonight. You know, very impressed with him and what he was able to do against a tough opponent. I mean, Marlon Moraes brought the fight to him hardcore in round number one, and Merab just took it, right? I mean, and you're looking at that fight and you're thinking any second this is going to be stopped and this fight's going to be over. And, man, I'll tell you what, a great job by Merab to get that win there. And he just – I give Marlon Moraes credit for finishing out round number one, but round number two, just unable to keep it going. Meanwhile, we got a minute 29 and counting remaining in our heavyweight matchup with Curtis Blades and Jairzinho Biggie Boy Rosenstruik. And, man, we have more people coming to the podium in a few, but these two heavyweights going at it with Curtis Blades on top. The wrestling we knew would be a big key for Blades tonight. A minute, 15 seconds remaining in that fight, and very excited to see where this one goes. But Curtis Blades, after the bad loss to Derek Lewis, and Rosenstruik coming off the loss to Cyril Gahn, we're looking forward to seeing this fight and how everything would go with these two fighters. And, you know, it's just one of those fights where it's right there at the top of the heavyweight division. The winner's going to be in position to do a lot of things, in the division moving forward. And you got Cyril Gahn and Francis Ngannou. Who knows what's going to happen with John Jones now? And look, I said it on my Instagram, everybody piling on John Jones and saying, you know, all these things about him, turning him into a punchline. This is the guy's life we're talking about, guys. And, you know, I know it's easy to jump on him, and it's easy. You know, John makes himself an easy target sometimes. I'll say that. But you know what? I mean, when I look at what John Jones has done in his career, you're always going to look back and you're going to think that that John Jones, you know, what could have been from John Jones. Very excited, and man, just it's anticlimactic in a lot of ways. And you think of the things that he has accomplished and he has done. But this isn't a show about John Jones tonight. This is a show about the UFC 266 fight card and, you know, the fighters at the top of that division. And you look at the heavyweight division, it's just incredible at the top with Stipe and Derek Lewis right behind Ngannou and Cyril Gahn, and then Curtis Blades, Volkov, and Jairzinho Rosenstruik. And, you know, Blades really controlling this on the feet tonight, throwing some good kicks, takedowns. Rosenstruik landed some good kicks and some good knees as well. And, you know, Blades showing the kind of chin he has, but then, you know, going back and forth and, you know, taking some of those shots. But Blades able to walk through some of them into the takedowns in this fight here tonight. And you look at what Curtis Blades has done in career, and, you know, this guy is just, he's doing what he's done to get himself here. And Rosenstruik is not happy with what happened in that fight. Obviously, he wanted to keep it on the feet, was unable to do so. But Blades really controlling this fight with the takedowns, and Rosenstruik coming alive in the second round, but then Blades just doing what Curtis Blades does. And that's a big win for Curtis Blades. That's a guy who you're looking for big things out of him in the heavyweight division. So when you think about Blades and you think about, you know, what's going on there, the significant strikes, he had more total strikes, he more than doubled them up, 3 takedowns to none. You know, the control time on the ground, about 6 minutes for Curtis Blades. So you expect him to get the decision here. And we're just a few minutes away, guys. Can you believe it? From the return of Nick Diaz. It's been so long. since Nick Diaz has been in the octagon. Think about it, man. Nick Diaz, I mean, the suspensions with the marijuana, being a little not really happy with what's going on in the game. It doesn't really seem enthused about fighting. But I really think that, Nick Diaz is a guy who has a lot to prove coming into this fight tonight. He's a big name, could get a title shot within the next fight or two with a big win. And, very excited to see Nick Diaz back in there. I mean, would you ever want to see Nick Diaz just ride it out and never get in the cage again? That no contest against Anderson Silva back in January of 2015, the last time we saw Nick Diaz in the octagon. Man, that's a long time. Curtis Blades, winner by unanimous decision over Jairzinho Rosenstrike, and he's got a big mouse underneath his right eye for his troubles, and that's a big win for him. He's going to move his way up in the rankings. Probably not going to pass Lewis. Lewis has a win over him, but he's right there. And Curtis Blades is the best wrestler in this division right now. He walked into the uppercut from Derek Lewis. Jeff and I talked about this. Think about it, right? If he hadn't walked into that uppercut from Derek Lewis, it looked like he was establishing control in the first round of that fight. And then in the second round of the fight, that's when it came to be that he walked into that uppercut and he was finished. And that can happen anytime in the heavyweight division. Stipe is a pretty good wrestler. Blades is an outstanding wrestler. I like Curtis Blades against any of these guys in the heavyweight division if he can get it to the ground. Now, obviously, he hasn't had success against Francis Ngannou. It's been a tough go for him against the Predator, the heavyweight champ, and now you'll see Cyril Gane and Ngannou. But when I think about Curtis Blades and who you might want to fight next, that's a big win. I mean, do you want to see the Lewis matchup? He's already fought Volkov. Curtis Blades and Stipe would be a really good fight. I don't know if Stipe takes that one. And then showing the crowd right now, you got Mel Gibson in there. And that's exciting. You get big Hollywood stars at the UFC fights. Mark Coleman's there. Royce Gracie's there. The Hall of Fame ceremony was this week with International Fight Week. We got our guy Scott Peterson on site in Las Vegas. We're live in Gilbert, Arizona. And Henry Cejudo, Triple C, is in the house. Can't wait to talk to Triple C after that featherweight championship fight tonight, because think about it for 1 second. Henry Cejudo, if Alexander Volkanovski wins this fight, you know what Henry's going to do. He's going to call him out. He's going to do it right here on MMA Weekly. So I'm excited for that. I know that we're all at the point where we can't wait for that to happen with Triple C. But Brian Ortega with the jiu-jitsu, I mean, this is a legitimate threat. I was talking to Henry before this fight card began tonight. When you think about Alexander Volkanovski, he's a tough dude. He's a 200-plus pound rugby player who's fighting at 145 pounds. The 2 wins over Max Holloway, the win over Chad Mendes. Think about it. He took punishment in all those fights. He was able to withstand everything those guys threw at him, and he was able to get the job done. So when I think about Volkanovski, as they show him walking in the arena right now, I mean, he's a villain. A lot of people don't like him, and he doesn't care. A lot of Brian Ortega fans tonight. You saw my interview with him on MMA Weekly. And we got Captain Eric Albarracin in the house tonight here in Arizona as well. So we'll try to bring him up here with me. And, man, I'm just excited to see these fights. You got Nick Diaz coming into the octagon for the first time since January of 2015 in that fight against Anderson Silva. That was made a no contest because he tested positive. Anderson Silva did, of course, for the performance-enhancing drugs, and that was a tough one. But, man, Diaz and Silva, that was a good fight. Nick Diaz, a legend in the sport. You think of all the fights over the years, the UFC fights, the Pride fight, the Elite XC fights, Strike Force. I mean, he's been everywhere. He's done everything in the sport. A true legend and a pioneer in mixed martial arts, Nick Diaz. And, he and Robbie Lawler, they bridged the gap from generation to generation. And you think about the last time when these two guys fought one another, Robbie Lawler and Nick Diaz, this was UFC 47. It was Nick Diaz coming in at 8-2. Robbie Lawler was unbeatable at the time, and Nick Diaz was able to knock him out in the second round, and a lot of counter shots from Diaz in that fight. But it was so long ago, guys. It was in April of 2004. April of 2004. Think about that for just 1 second. 17 plus years ago, 17 and a half years ago. So, I mean, it's crazy when you think about those two guys and how long it's been, the direction that their careers have gone in since then. And, Nick Diaz has fought who's who, Sanchez and Riggs and Shirk and Gleason Timo and Frank Shamrock and Paul Daly and BJ Penn and Carlos Condit, who just retired, and George St. Pierre and Anderson Silva. And he's been training every time with his brother Nate when Nate has come back and fought. So he's been active in his own regard, but he hasn't been in a fight in the cage in over 6 years. So what are we going to see from Nick Diaz? We know the jiu-jitsu is strong. We know the chin is great. We know the longer the fight goes on, the deeper the water he drags you into, and the more trouble you could possibly be in, very similar to his brother Nate, his younger brother. But when you look at Robbie Lawler, that's his kind of fight, even though Robbie's lost 4 in a row. So I can't wait to see how Robbie looks tonight. It's been a while for Robbie Lawler, too. I mean, obviously, Robbie fought Ben Askren, and, that was Ben Askren's only win in the UFC, and Robbie looked like he had that one. He lost to Colby Covington, lost to Neil Magny after that. Before that, he lost to RDA, so 4 losses in a row, and 5 out of 6 for Robbie Lawler. If you count the one that he lost the belt to Tyron Woodley, his only win in there was over Cowboy Cerrone at UFC 214 in Anaheim on the Jones Cormier card, and it wasn't that great of a fight for Robbie, and he did pick up the win. So Robbie, maybe the last time was in the octagon. Nick Diaz knows the win, where we might see him next, or if we might see him next. So these two guys, I mean, we're talking about OGs. We're talking about fan favorites. We're talking about guys who really want to stand and trade and slug it out with one another in the middle of the octagon tonight. And I, for one, guys, I really am. I'm that fan. I think we all are, right? I'm the fan who wants to see Nick Diaz back there and see what he's got and what he's all about. I mean, why not, right? I mean, you don't want to ever see, guys just finish off their career and not, not get to the fight and show us what they can do. I mean, 6+ years is way too long to not see Nick Diaz in the octagon, guys. Way too long to not see him in there. So I'm looking at this and I'm going, you think about cage rush, you think about all that time out of there, and there is no substitute for competing in the octagon. No matter how many times you practice, no matter how many sparring sessions you go through, grappling, wrestling, all these things you do, no matter how many times you do that, it doesn't take the place of live competition in the octagon. So I can't wait to see what happens here. I want to know what you guys are thinking in the chat, guys. Let me know. Let me know what you're thinking. Who wins this fight? How? When? What round? You know what I mean? I'm pretty excited to see what happens here. I don't know if you guys are as excited as I am. We got some of the regulars in the chat room tonight. Pumped to see you guys here. We got Henry Cejudo in the house in Gilbert, Arizona at Catching Flights Bar and Grill. We got Eric Albanacine, the captain here. I'm going to bring these guys up here, and we know what's going to happen. Henry's going to want to call out Alexander Volkanovski if Alex is able to win this fight over Brian Ortega. So I'm really pumped to see what happens here, and I absolutely can't wait for all that to happen. And man, I will tell you what, there's Robbie Lawler making his way to the cage right now. Robbie Lawler is walking up to the octagon to fight Nick Diaz, and I will tell you what, it's absolutely amazing to see this matchup. And Nick Diaz said, hey, whoever made this fight was an idiot, and I don't know why he feels that way. He said he already beat him. Maybe he wanted to fight somebody else, but I just don't understand why he would. This is a Legends matchup. This is one that you would want to see. This is one that any fan would want to witness as Robbie Lawler makes his way to the octagon right now. I mean, it's almost hard to believe. I have to admit, when I first saw this fight, and I don't know how you guys are feeling about this, let me know what you're thinking in the chat, but I almost felt like it'd be a miracle if we made it to fight night and this fight happened, right? I felt like it would be. We've made it this far. I mean, there's been a weight change, but it's a 5-round co-main. And I wish Gaethje Handler was a 5-round co-main in New York in early November. A 5-round co-main, just like against Leon Edwards was. And if you remember, Leon Edwards beating up Nick Diaz for most of that fight. Diaz had him on his heels and was really rocking him late, and Edwards survived. Had that fight gone any longer, and it became real close at the end, Nate Diaz probably would have got the finish there. So you just never know how things are going to go. But I'm excited because Robbie Lawler and Nick Diaz are going to want to stand in the middle of the octagon and trade tonight. And in a minute, you're about to see this place go crazy. There's a lot of Diaz fans, the Diaz Army in full effect. And I'm just really excited to see where this one goes, man. I mean, Robbie lost unanimous decisions to Colby Covington and Neil Magny, technical submission to Ben Askren, and then the unanimous decision loss to Rafael dos Anjos, who's now, of course, contending at 155 again and looking to get back in the title picture there. So, man, Robbie Lawler enjoying that fanfare and the adulation. A lot of Robbie Lawler. I remember when I first started doing the Power MMA show, which was back in 2011 with Ryan Bader and Aaron Simpson. Robbie Lawler was training at Power MMA. He was still fighting in middleweight. He was just coming back to the UFC. He wasn't having a lot of luck at that point in time, and then he drops down to welterweight. He wins the title, and man, it was pretty cool to see. Robbie went back to welterweight after he lost 3 out of 4 at middleweight to Kennedy, Jacare, and Lorenz Larkin, but then he comes back to welterweight. He beats Koshbeck and Volker, Rory McDonald, and then Johnny Hendricks beats him, but he beats Ellenberger and Brown and Hendricks to win the belt, and that was at UFC 181 in December of 2014. And then, of course, he had the last fights back-to-back against Rory McDonald and Carlos Condit. And it makes me wonder, guys, how much those fights took out of him, because he lost to Woodley the next time out, beats Cowboy Cerrone, and he lost 4 in a row after that. Man, everybody started, you hear the crowd here, starting to clap for Nick Diaz. It's been a long time since Nick Diaz has made the walk to the octagon. 6.5 years for Nick Diaz. And look, you talk about some of the greatest fights we've seen. Nick Diaz has been a part of a lot of those in Pride, in Elite XC, in Strikeforce, in the UFC. And man, oh man, just an unbelievable reaction. It's actually Nick Diaz who's actually making the walk to the octagon. I have to admit, I didn't think this was going to happen. I thought they were going to get publicity for it. I thought that, it was going to be something that would give a lot of extra attention to the card, but that I didn't think we'd make it to fight night. We fight here. And when I look at what happened, to get us here, the weight, changes to 185, man, oh man, just an unbelievable turn of events. And we're here. Robbie Lawler said he didn't care. He said that he just wants to fight him. And that's something that I was really excited to see. For Robbie Lawler just to get in there and fight him. And he just doesn't. Robbie Lawler's a gamer. You know how that goes. And we're still waiting. And we've had Merab Dashvili. I can never say his name. We need Jeff Kane here for that. Merab has already been at the podium after his win over Marlon Moraes. Dan Hooker, who beat Nasrat Akras. And then you got Jessica Andrade and Curtis Blades, also winners here tonight. Curtis Blades by unanimous decision over Jairzinho Rosenstrike. He landed some big shots, did Biggie Boy, but he was unable to get the win. And Curtis Blades with a really good performance, even though he had the big mouse under his eye for his troubles at the end of the fight. So really, it's really cool. So we're gonna keep this one here until the end of the main event tonight, and we're gonna start a separate stream for the press conference right after. So that's gonna be a lot of fun here tonight, and I guess I'll interview Henry Cejudo on my camera, edit it real quick, and put it out on MMA Weekly to get that reaction from Henry here this evening. So I'm pretty excited about that, and I just can't wait to see where this, all takes us tonight. As Nick Diaz is back in the octagon, I wonder if Bruce Buffer ever thought he was going to get the chance to intro Nick Diaz again. Probably not, right? Probably not. This is something that is very exciting for all of us as fans to see. And Robbie Lawler and Nick Diaz, 185.5 for Diaz, 184 for Robbie Lawler. And right as you're about to really start cutting weight, when you realize you don't have to do it, you can eat, you're mentally prepared for it. Be interested to see what kind of an effect that has on Robbie tonight. I don't think it'll have much of one at all. So I'm not really sure what to expect there. But I know that Nick Diaz is a gamer. He weighed in just a half pound over, so he's fine there. Robbie Lawler is just a pound and a half lighter at weigh-ins. Both guys look good. They look strong. Robbie said he had a great camp. Feels healthy, feels good, and ready to go. So, I'm looking for both guys to get in the middle, stand and trade. Robbie's obviously a great boxer. Nick's got a great chin. And, over the years, when you look at what Nick's been able to do in the octagon, he's got some really big wins and some really big performances over the years. And, when Diaz gets in the cage, it's always an event. He's got 13 knockouts and 8 submissions. Usually, for the most part, exciting fights. When Nick Diaz is in the octagon, as Buffer is introing him right now. So Nick Diaz back in the octagon for the first time in over 6 years. He looks like he's in pretty good shape. He looks like he's ready to rock, and he's ready to go against Lawler. Take a look at the odds of this fight. I want to take a peek at the odds and let you know what's going on there. But Nick Diaz making his return after 6 years out. And you have Robbie Lawler at minus 155, minus 165, about the biggest I've seen. Diaz plus 140 to plus 130, and that's about right there. I mean, look, you got Nick Diaz, he's the underdog, and Robbie Lawler, the favorite, coming into this fight. They're just about to get it going in the center of the octagon. Guys, this is really exciting. I mean, this is a trip down memory lane for sure, but both guys still pretty good and more than capable of delivering a great performance. As Diaz comes right in, Robbie clenches him, hits him with a couple shots, has Diaz backed up against the cage. Diaz not, notoriously a fast starter, but Robbie emptying the tank, throwing bombs from the beginning, missed on a head kick. Diaz greeted with a flurry instantly from Robbie Lawler. So we'll see if he's able to survive this here. Diaz looking to counter. Robbie with some leg kicks. And, it's pretty interesting when you think about it, man. It's been a long time for Nick Diaz to get out of the way of a couple of bombs from Robbie, but Nick looks a little bit rusty in there. He looks a little bit rusty so far, guys. Just about 50 seconds into round number 1. Diaz trying to get those bearings. He doesn't look fast. His punches are missing by a lot. Robbie Lawler, as Diaz throws a kick, Nick Diaz doesn't look like on any of those kicks or punches. He really doesn't. And I'll tell you what, he better come to life here pretty quick. His punches that he's throwing are missing by a mile. A couple of hooks sailing way over the head of Robbie Lawler. And Robbie's going to want to be careful not to empty the tank too fast here early on in this fight. But Diaz maybe found his bearings a little bit after the early rush from Robbie Lawler. But you can definitely see the rust. Nick Diaz not coming close to any of his punches so far. It'll be interesting to see as we hit the 3.5-minute mark of round number 1. Diaz notoriously likes to find his way through a fight, get himself going, get that groove, feel the rhythm, and he takes a lot of shots, and then his chin's good, and it seems like that's when he comes to life. And the longer the fight goes on, the better he has always gotten. But it hasn't been 6+ years for Nick Diaz. He landed one to the body there, though. Interesting, man. This is a lot of fun. See, Robbie Lawler looks pretty quick. Diaz looks slow to start. Robbie's just not able to connect. He's throwing a lot of shots. Diaz pretty good head movement, which I think is cool. So I'm pretty excited to see where this fight goes from here. Diaz has landed a couple of shots here now. And Robbie just wants to keep coming forward. Robbie looks really comfortable in the pocket, but Nick is starting to land now. Nick Diaz is starting to connect with some of those jabs from that southpaw stance. And a nice jab landed from Nick, and then a counter left from Robbie Lawler. Diaz left his head in the pocket a little bit too long on that one. And we got 2.5 minutes left in round number 1. Not really sure, how long this fight's going to last. These guys, looking to keep that cardio going, and then at some point, each guy looking for the finish. Obviously, neither one of these guys is going to get in there and do anything but look for a finish. And, you look at Diaz with the 13 knockouts and 8 submissions, and Robbie Lawler, of course, knockout after knockout after knockout. He's got 20 knockouts in his career. But Diaz coming forward, starting to really land the jab, and then the left hand coming behind it. He's throwing front kicks. So early on, Nick wasn't landing anything and looked like he was way out of whack on everything. But since then, he's been starting to really connect on Robbie, who lands a nice counter left. But Diaz working the body. Nick Diaz starting to come alive in the crowd here. Diaz landing some pretty good shots. The boxing is starting to work in his favor right now. Robbie Lawler's head is in the pocket, and Robbie's taking a lot of punishment in his career. You can see some of the marks on Robbie Lawler's face and forehead now. This is a lot of fun, man. I gotta admit, it's a lot of fun. Nick Diaz started very slow in this round, and since then, he's been landing a ton of shots. Just, none of them really seem like they have a ton of steam on him, but he's able to land them nonetheless. And, he's up against the cage right now. He's got those hands up over his face like that, and now he's throwing counters. He's connecting a lot on Robbie Lawler, some kicks as well. Under a minute left in round one. This has been a hell of an entertaining round so far between these two legends of mixed martial arts and in the UFC. Trading shots back and forth. This is a hell of a fight right now. Really, really fun watching this one. And we kind of knew what we were going to get. Nick looking to come in on him, lower in that head. 40 seconds left in the round, and it's been an exciting round so far. A really exciting round between these two guys. And you look at Diaz and Robbie, 30 seconds left. Robbie's face looks a little bit worse than Nick's. Nick doesn't have many marks on. He's covered up now, turtled up a little bit, but Diaz with a nice 1-2 combination, throwing heavy volume, just about the 15-second mark of round number 1. Guys, this is awesome. I hope you guys are enjoying this as much as I am. This is a treat with Diaz and Lawler here right now. Very exciting round number 1. 5 seconds remaining in the round with Diaz both throwing extremely heavy volume and a lot of shots landed by each fighter in that round. But Nick Diaz is clean. His face doesn't look, too tapped up. And, Robbie's got a lot of marks on his, but Robbie landed some big shots early. Diaz really having success on the feet after that. It started off not looking so good, but really got sharp about halfway through the round. It looked like it took 2 to 2.5 minutes for Nick Diaz to get his bearings in there. What do you guys think after that round? What do you guys think of Nick Diaz with what you saw in that round right there? Let me know in the chat room, guys. What did you see in that round? What are you looking for in round number 2? It's exciting, man. This is great. We got everybody, all the usual suspects there. We got Monica Lama says Valentina Shevchenko. Her fight's next against Lauren Murphy, who's got a hell of a pin himself. And Valentina's been, pushed the distance a couple of times by, girls with good chins and good cardio. But what do you guys think? Round number 1, I'd have to score round number 1 for Nick Diaz, if you're asking me. I would have to score round number 1 for Nick. We get set to round number 2. Nick doesn't look like he's breathing too heavy. Robbie Lawler, crowd screaming. Robbie stomps out to the center of the octagon and comes on Nick's side of the cage to take the fight to Diaz. Diaz again with the combos, working the body, bobbing and weaving, moving that head. You got to be careful with Robbie Lawler. Anytime, one shot, and you go night-night. Robbie's got 20 KOs, but Nick with 21 finishes of his own. Oh, and he bends down into the clinch and takes a knee to the forehead from Robbie Lawler. Nick Diaz is going to want to be careful, leaning forward and covering up. Robbie slid the guard with a knee right up the pipe. And that was a good shot from Robbie Lawler. Got Diaz backed up against the octagon right now. So a lot of volume from both these guys early on. And remember, this is a 5-round fight between Robbie Lawler and Nick Diaz. And Nick's having a lot of success throwing jabs and coming back with hooks to the body. The hooks to the body have been hitting and finding their mark and throwing kicks to the midsection, just trying to land and the accumulation of those shots over the rounds and over the minutes of this fight to wear down ruthless Robbie Lawler. And Nick with a couple of combos, throwing some pretty good jabs, and like a little jab, a couple of times hitting them. Of course, it's the right hand for Nick, he's a southpaw. But now he's fighting out of the orthodox stance. He's going back and forth between southpaw and orthodox, but mostly fighting out of that southpaw stance. And I hope you guys are enjoying this fight as much as I am. It's almost like a trip down memory lane. It's almost like, you see the two legends in there. Everybody who said, hey, these are, like these guys are too old. These guys may be toward the end of the line, but they are not too old in this fight. They're still in their 30s. This is not one of those 50-year-old fights that we've seen in Bellator over the years. It's just exciting, man, to see this. Very high volume coming from each guy. Nick Diaz looks comfortable in there. Robbie's always going to come forward. He always is comfortable in the pocket, moving his head, blocking some of these shots, but leaving himself open for Diaz to pop through, especially with that jab to hit Robbie Lawler. Diaz connected with a left hook there. This is a lot of fun. We have more fighters coming to the podium here soon. Jessica Andrade, Curtis Blades. I don't know if Blades will, with that eye, if he'll go straight to the hospital. Maybe we can get an update from Scott in Las Vegas. So Diaz now moving out of the way of a couple of shots from Robbie. He was up against the cage and able to work his way out a couple of minutes ago. We got under 2.5 minutes remaining in round number 2. It's been an entertaining fight. Blades and Rosenstrike was pretty good. This fight's been very entertaining, but it's been clear that Robbie Lawler is taking the fight to Diaz. He's chasing him all over the octagon. Diaz waits for him to come in, landing some body shots. Robbie hit him with a pretty good left as Diaz came in. And I'll tell you what, it's exciting to see these guys going at it like this. And we still have Valentina and Lauren Murphy coming up. We still have Alexander Volkanovski and Brian T. City Ortega coming up. got a packed house here on location. We got Henry Cejudo here. We got Eric, about a scene in the house. These guys having fun, just enjoying the fights tonight. This is Robbie Lawler coming forward and just throwing a lot of combinations that you would expect Robbie Lawler to do. Let me know what you're thinking in the chat if you're watching the fight or what you think will happen moving forward. We've got about a minute 20 left in round number 2. And Diaz and Lawler, I mean, that's a ton of output that we've seen in this fight. I'm anxious to see the numbers between rounds. Just a ton of output between these two fighters here tonight. Diaz and Lawler getting after it in the octagon. And Lawler, as he has throughout the night, controlling the space inside the cage in Diaz's face. Diaz very comfortable. And Diaz has landed 107 to 81 strikes compared to Robbie Lawler, 27 to the body, rest of them to the head. So high volume. Diaz landing more. I would say Robbie's landed the harder shots in this fight. Diaz constantly trying to keep Robbie off him coming up against the cage. So this is exciting, man. I feel like this, you know, it's a lot of fun. Diaz maybe a step slow with some punches. Robbie able to tag with a jab coming through as Diaz was throwing a combination. We got 19 seconds and counting remaining in round number 2. So this is exciting, man. These two guys, you see a lot of tweets come through, seeing Diaz back in the octagon. People are excited for that. Robbie with a nice flurry toward the end of round number 2. Some nice combinations there from Robbie Lawler. There goes the end of round number 2. What do you guys think? Let's hear what you have to say about this fight so far. Robbie Lawler and Nick Diaz throwing a ton of volume. Diaz has landed a lot more. Robbie has landed some hard shots to the body, some very hard shots to the head. Some kicks, showing some replays right now. Nick Diaz, when you saw Robbie land a kick to the midsection, and that one landed clean to the side of the oblique, and you get that face that you see from the fighter that Nick Diaz made there. So that's exciting to see as well. And man, awesome job by both of these fighters. They're set for round number 3 in just a second. So round number 3 about to start now. A little bit more damage to the face of Nick Diaz. Robbie's got the blood on his nose. And you think back to the McDonald fight, you think back to the Carlos Condit fight, neither one of those fighters in either fight had any business standing at the two greatest welterweight fights, 2 greatest UFC fights I've ever seen as a fan of the sport, man. I'll tell you that. It's to see Robbie in there just standing and trading still. Great to have you here with this one here tonight. And Diaz's face getting red and some blood there. You're always going to get a war with the Diaz brother in the cage. And then you got Robbie Lawler. Both of them starting to show some signs of wear and tear. So we got about 4.5 minutes. Oh, Nick got rocked and he gets down to his knees. He's on the ground. Robbie wants him to get up, wants to let him up. Diaz got rocked. Was waiting for Robbie to pounce and then finish him there. Robbie does not want it to go to the ground. Diaz unable to continue. I don't know what happened there. The ref went over to him and asked him if he could continue, and I guess Diaz said no. They waved it off, and I don't know what happened there with Diaz and Lawler. The two of them hugging it out. Man, that was an abrupt finish to that fight. I'll have to get the replay and see what happens here. So Nick Diaz will taste defeat. And that was just something, I think it was a body shot that crumpled him. We'll have to see what replay we get here. Nick's got a lot of blood down the front of his face, too. Of course, Nick had only been knocked out twice in his career. Robbie drilled him to the body. Nick dropped down, and then Robbie landed a left right on the button to the side of the nose, and then a right to the temple. And that was it. He missed with a left as Diaz fell. I guess he landed one left and one right to the head of Nick Diaz. Showing it again. Oh, the right hook just landed flush and buckled him. That's what it was. The right hook landed right to the temple, and I think that one kind of knocked him down. And then Robbie said, "Hey, get up," and he walked away. And then Nick just lay on the ground, and then just was unable to continue. So a little bit of an anticlimactic finish, but not a disappointing fight by any stretch of the imagination. when you look at the way these two traded back and forth throughout that fight, and it ends in round number 3. It didn't need to be a 5-round fight. Didn't need to be a 5-round fight. So Robbie Lawler picks up the win nonetheless. And we're going to get the official word from Bruce Buffer here in a second. And again, we're still waiting for more fighters to come to the podium. Jessica Andrade and Curtis Bates, if Curtis is going to come. Waiting on word from Vegas. So Nick Diaz unable to continue after Robbie landed a couple of big shots to the head. TKO for Robbie Lawler. So Robbie Lawler puts an end to that 4-fight losing streak. And that was something that he wanted to do. Going to be an interesting interview with Robbie Lawler. He breaks the 4-fight losing streak to RDA, Askren, Colby Covington, and Neil Magny. But he took a lot of shots in this fight. This was not easy. It was a retirement, TKO by retirement. So Diaz did tell the ref that he was unable to continue. And that's something that, when you look at that, that's a tough one. But he did get rocked by a left and the right hand hit him like flush, right in the temple from Robbie Lawler. And Robbie took a lot of shots from Nick in this fight as well. So an interesting fight. And Nick Diaz looked good in this fight. For what I expected to see out of him, and people were saying, a win and he gets a title shot. He fought in 6.5 years. Robbie connected early and then connected often. And in the 3rd round, he really took control. And I think it was really the body shots, the kicks to the midsection, and a couple of punches in there as well. But he landed 2 kicks with that left foot. Remember, he's lefty. 2 kicks with that left foot right into the abs and the obliques of Nick Diaz. And I think it just sucked the life out of him. And then when Robbie landed upstairs, as Nick was looking downstairs to protect the body, that's what happens. Those hands drop a little bit when you start absorbing too many of those body blows. And Nick Diaz unable to continue in the fight. So TKO by retirement. Victory for Robbie Lawler at 45 seconds of round number 3. And I can't hear what Robbie Lawler is calling for next. We'll see here in a second. What an exciting fight, though. What an exciting fight. Give you everything I think you wanted. Robbie Lawler shaking DC's hand in the center of the octagon. I don't know if he's going to interview Nick Diaz or not. A lot of fans are going to want to hear what Nick has to say, and might have to wait until. Yeah, he's got DC talking to Nick here. I can't really hear the interview as I'm watching the fights, but the fans giving Nick a nice round of applause for his performance here tonight. And Nick Diaz, a good sport. He falls to 26-10. Only the 3rd time he's been finished. He also got a couple of no contests. But a great job, I think, by Nick Diaz in this fight. I just don't know what people were expecting of him. To come back after over 6 years and just slug it out, the volume, the number of punches he threw, the number of shots he absorbed throughout this fight, man. I mean, he stood in there like the G that he is. He stood in there like the G that he is. And he took everything that Robbie had. So he's talking to DC right now. I don't know if he's going to fight again. I don't know what he's going to say here, but I'm trying to hear it. Barely hear it in the room here out of the side of my headset. But just an exciting back and forth battle between 2 legends of the sport. Didn't really disappoint at all. Didn't disappoint one bit. So Robbie Lawler and Nick Diaz go into the 3rd round, 45 seconds in round number 3. Nick is, DC's asking right now, we'd love to see him in the octagon again. And, he brought the excitement. Brings a lot of fans. A lot of people were really excited to see Nick Diaz back in the octagon tonight, myself included. And again, this fight did not disappoint at all, guys. It did not disappoint at all. Not one bit. Not one bit. And I'll tell you what, I know that a lot of the fighters have been excited to see it happen. A lot of the fighters couldn't wait for Diaz to get back in there. He's a fighter's fighter. I'm sure you're showing Yair Rodriguez in the crowd right now. Yair is obviously got a big fight coming up against Max Holloway. We got 2 more fights here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and then we're going to wrap it up with a stream for the press conference. Really excited for that. anytime Nick Diaz gets in the octagon, I'm there and I'm watching it. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think in the chat room? Nick lost in 45 seconds. Who cares about Diaz? Who won, Ortega or the Russian? Volkanovski's not Russian. He's from New Zealand. But Ortega, that's 2 more fights. We got Lauren Murphy challenging Valentina Shevchenko for the flyweight title coming up in just a minute. And Valentina Shevchenko has won 7 title fights in a row at flyweight. And remember, she lost to Amanda Nunes twice at bantamweight. And Amanda is the bantamweight and the featherweight champion on the women's side. But Valentina Shevchenko has been about as dominant as you can be, the UFC champion. When you think about what she's been able to do, the streak is impressive. Obviously, her last was Amanda Nunes, September 9th, 2017. Before that, it was Amanda, March 5th, 2016. And both of those fights to Amanda Nunes were very close. One was a split decision, one was a unanimous decision. She also lost to Liz Carmouche by Dr. Stoppage at C3 fights, the Red River rivalry in Oklahoma, and that was a Dr. Stoppage. So it wasn't, it's a legitimate loss, but it wasn't, her being finished or her being submitted. It was a Dr. Stoppage because of the cut in that fight, and that happens, right? But Valentina's been about as dominant as you could be. Unanimous decision over Holly Holm, submitted Juliana Pena, and then she moves to bantamweight, and she beats Priscilla Cachoeira by submission by rear naked hook. Then she wins the vacant flyweight championship when Joanna Jędrzejczyk came out at UFC 231, December of 2018. Then it's Jessica Ai with a vicious, you remember that KO, that head kick for Valentina Shevchenko. And then you think about that, after that, she beat Liz Carmouche by unanimous decision. She knocked out TKO Caitlin Chukagian. And then it was Jennifer Maia by unanimous decision and Jessica Andrade, that TKO by elbows. So I'm curious to see, in the chat what you guys are thinking. John Nolan, yeah, you're right. Nick looks slow, to be honest. He did look a little slow. Obviously, a step slower and a little bit second slower as well. So you think about that, and, Nick lost. And pretty good fight overall. But, yeah, neither guy looked as fast or as sharp as they did when they were younger. Definitely a step slow for each guy. And you think about that, but Valentina Shevchenko on a 7-fight win streak, and she's got a tough competitor in there tonight against Lauren Murphy. And I remember Lauren's fight against Joanna Calderwood in Phoenix in June. I was there at that fight, UFC 263. Scott and I were there at that one, but Joanna Calderwood, that was a split decision, and both fighters were pretty banged up. Calderwood and Lauren Murphy. Lauren Murphy used to train in Arizona. And of course, she fought in Glenville. She used to train at the MMA lab, and look at the wins now for Lauren Murphy. 5 in a row for her after the loss to Sujera Ebanks, and that was back in June of 2018. She's lost to Chukagian, Carmouche, and Sarah McMahon, but 5 in a row, including Andrea Lee, Roxanne Modafferi, Shakirova, and then Joanna Calderwood. But this is a golden opportunity for her. Valentina's pretty much beaten everyone in her path. Valentina has beaten everyone in her path, and they're running out of challengers for Valentina Shevchenko. Andrade came up after Rose Namajunas beat her, and Weili Zhang took the title from her, and then Rose Namajunas beat her. She moves up to 125 and gets the title shot very quickly after one fight against Valentina. Valentina finishes her, and now you have Lauren Murphy with an opportunity. But again, she's running out of opponents, Valentina Shevchenko. She's running out of opponents because she's just been that dominant. She's just been that incredible in that weight class. What a run by her at flyweight. When you think about, Lauren Murphy being ranked number 3, Chukagian ranked number 2. But again, those are flawed. Valentina Shevchenko. And I thought for a minute there that Zhang Weili, who some of her teams here tonight at the event, she's training at Fight Ready with Henry Cejudo and company getting ready for the rematch against Star Brothers, where she lost her belt. But I thought maybe there might be a good shot to see Zhang Weili move up and fight Valentina, for that super fight. If she won a couple more fights at 115, which is really loaded right now. When you think about 115, it's absolutely jacked in that division. So Valentina running out of potential opponents. Those are topics and stories for another day. Tonight, she's got Lauren Murphy. And Lauren Murphy is, obviously a game opponent. She's a terrific fighter. you know, a boxing and Muay Thai fighter and a brown belt in Jiu-Jitsu. When you think about Lauren Murphy, 15 wins, 8 by knockout, only 1 submission. And Valentina, of course, is a world-class Muay Thai fighter. Just so many. When you think about this girl, right? When you think about Valentina Shevchenko, I mean, she's 33 years old, born in 1988. But, I mean, so many fights in her career. On the MMA side, as a professional, she's 21-3. 2-0 as a boxer. And in Muay Thai, just, you know, I mean, a ton of fights. Let's look at fights she's won, belts she's won, and she's just been unbelievable throughout her career. Kickboxing and Muay Thai has been a big, big thing for her. She just so many fights over the years for Valentina. And then in the UFC, she's been dominant. Again, this is to...
Mas é claro que ainda tem eu tenho muito para evoluir, muito para crescer ainda dentro acho que do meu jogo de luta, e com certeza eu vou conseguir mostrar isso nas minhas próximas lutas.
Yeah, so far was one of the best performances I've ever had, and I could be more patient, more smarter, see the moments that I could attack, but I know I gotta tell you that I have a lot of holes to improve. I'm gonna improve way more and be a better fighter and show in my next fights.
Were you surprised that Cynthia didn't try to go to the ground with you?
Você ficou surpresa que a Cynthia não tentou te derrubar?
Eu fiquei muito surpresa, porque eu imaginei que ela fosse tentar trocar um pouco, mas logo em seguida ela ia tentar entrar com a luta para baixo, mas eu acho que os chutes que eu dei foi minando um pouco a energia da perna dela, e ela foi meio que desistindo de entrar nas quedas. Mas eu estava muito bem treinado, eu sabia que se ela fizesse isso eu ia conseguir defender bem, colocar bons golpes, mas foi uma luta muito boa.
Yes, it was a surprise for me, but I think it was my leg kicks kind of took the energy of her leg, so she kind of gave up of the idea of trying to take me down, but I was ready. If she tried to take me down, I was ready to take advantage of that.
And I want to wish you a happy birthday. Do you have any big fancy celebration plans, to go along with the win?
Feliz aniversário, você tem algum plano para celebrar hoje à noite?
Olha, eu acho que o plano maior é estar com a minha família, celebrar com o meu coach, com meus amigos. E, bom, como eu falei, né, o aniversário é meu, mas a festa é de todos os meus fãs. E quem quiser aparecer, bom, minha casa tá com as portas abertas.
Yeah, I'm gonna celebrate with my coach, my family, my wife, my friends, but like I said, my victory is for all my fans, the party for them. If they show up at my house, it is what it is.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Jessica, right here. I think a lot of people are surprised at how good your English got in your post-fight interview. How often are you practicing your English back in Brazil?
Muitas pessoas ficaram surpresas com o nível do seu inglês hoje. Quanto você está treinando? Quão frequente você está treinando?
Olha, essa frase eu treinei o mês inteiro. Treinei o mês inteiro para eu conseguir falar, mas deu certo. É assim, eu consigo entender algumas coisas bem, mas o meu inglês não está muito bom. Mas eu prometi que eu vou entrar na escola, eu vou estudar para poder comunicar bem com todo mundo e virar uma lutadora 100%.
So that quote, I used it in the octagon. I was training for 1 month, and my English I know is not very well yet, but I'm going to start. After tonight, I'm going to start. I'm going to the school to learn English and talk with all my fans. But I can understand a lot of things already, and I know I'm going to speak English.
Today. Thanks so much, my fans. Thanks so much, I'm so sorry, not very well English. Yes, okay. His birthday is very important for me. His win is one present for me, present for you, present to my fans. Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Just one last one, or one quick one for me. You have the unique ability to fight in multiple divisions, and you're strong, and you always perform well in those divisions. So is the main goal for you to what brings you the title next? A lot of fighters just want to stay active, but for you, is the main goal the title, and is that why strawweight is the main goal for you?
Você tem uma habilidade de performar muito bem em diferentes categorias. Muitos atletas, quando têm essa essa chance, né, essa qualidade, eles preferem se manter mais ativos e fazer mais lutas. Você, a sua meta de descer de categoria é justamente o cinturão, o seu grande foco é o cinturão, é por isso?
Na verdade eu amo lutar, né? Eu amo estar aqui dentro do UFC. E estando aqui em Vegas, eu acredito que eu vou ter mais oportunidade de fazer mais lutas, de conseguir colocar o meu jogo em prática. E eu acho que é uma grande oportunidade, né, ter a chance de disputar o cinturão de novo. Eu acho que seria uma luta muito interessante, não só para minha carreira, mas também dentro do UFC. E eu tô esperando, né, o que o UFC decidir para mim, eu tô pronta. Mas se eu não tiver a oportunidade de lutar pelo cinturão, acho que talvez em dezembro eu feche o ano aí com a luta contra a Jennifer Maia. Quem de nós duas vencer tem a oportunidade de voltar a ter uma luta com a Valentina.
I love fighting, I love my job, I love UFC. The thing is, now I live in Vegas, so I'm able to fight more often in the octagon. But I know it's a really good chance for me and for my career if I fight for the belt again, and if I get the title. But depends on UFC, whatever they want to. If they don't give me the chance to fight for the belt now, probably in December I'm gonna fight Jennifer Maia, another Brazilian fighter. And then who wins gonna get probably the chance to fight for the title at 125 weight division.
Pair of ends.
Thank you.
Jessica.
All right, here we go, guys. We are back live on MMA Weekly, the most trusted source of news and entertainment in mixed martial arts for almost 20 years. You can see sitting here with me right now live in Arizona as we bring you UFC 266 live coverage on MMA Weekly is the captain, Eric Albarracin, Henry Cejudo's coach, Paulo Costa's coach, and so many more. The Korean Zombie, Sean Wei Lee, is training in Arizona right now at Fight Ready. Testing. Hold up. 4. Here we go. We got you. All right, we are live. We got the captain live. You see him right there? That's what it looked like right there. See? Right up there on the screen. So we got 2 more fights left, man. What did you think? The first thing I have to ask you is, what did you think of Nick Diaz and his return against Robbie Lawler? Gets finished in the 3rd round.
Man, for those first 10 minutes were awesome. I was like, Nick Diaz Army. It was like a blast from the past. I thought it was awesome. He showed a lot of heart. He took a lot of damage. The guy that hasn't fought in 7 years, he took a lot of damage. We can't hear where did it stop? Did he just get hurt?
Yeah, he got hurt, and it was TKO by retirement. So that means the ref has to keep going. So he took a lot of body shots, those kicks from Robbie, and then he hit him with a left and then the right hand that hook, and he just knocked him down. And Robbie said, "Hey, get up," and Nick was like, "No, I couldn't do it anymore."
I thought he maybe hurt his knee.
I couldn't. If he did hurt his knee, I couldn't tell. So,
we can't hear that.
Scott, if you're in Vegas, Scott, if you can hear us, I don't know if Nick Diaz hurt his knee. Captain Eric was thinking he might have, but it's kind of loud where we are, so we weren't really sure. So here we go, man. We got Lauren Murphy, used to train in Arizona. Valentina's running out of opponents. Valentina Shevchenko, and she's an all-time dominating performer. I know you got something to say, but I'm excited to see if Lauren Murphy can give her a fight. Lauren Murphy's a brawler. She's won 5 in a row. Valentina's won 7 in a row. What do you see happening here?
I want to know what the odds are.
I got it right here. Asking you shall receive. So you got Valentina minus 100 and Lauren Murphy plus 950. That's like Ron Rousey, Holly Holm.
Never heard of that. Hey, if I wanted to bring up Ronda Rousey, Holly Holm, hey, this is women's MMA. Anything can happen. But I'd have to go with Valentina. I'd have to go with the Bullet. So I think those odds are maybe a little bit high, but this girl has always performed, always showed up, and she's the best fighter in women's MMA right now, in my opinion.
Yeah, she's right up there. And the two losses to Amanda Nunes, I'm glad you need to say that because they were at bantamweight. Valentina's not a bantamweight. She's obviously 125er. So when you think about that, that's not really fair to say that she's fighting up those weight classes to really gauge her talent. But a lot of people put her above Amanda, even though Amanda's been so dominant. She said now, I mean, look at the head kick that she won by knockout Valentina Shevchenko. You know, that was a legendary knockout just like 3 fights ago against Jessica I. The KO, the head kick, the TKO against Chikagian, and then on Andrade, she got her with the elbows. So Lauren Murphy's a gamer. You know Lauren Murphy's going to come forward, and she's got a great chin. She's got the brown belt in jiu-jitsu. She's a boxer and a Muay Thai fighter, but those are Valentina's strengths, and nobody's better in the UFC than Valentina at Muay Thai.
And let's see how they feel each other out in this first round. We see them studying each other. A bit of distance management going on.
Actually, got you see here in the house tonight, Henderson.
The greatest combat athlete of all time. You got Bruno Bulldog, the hottest flyweight in the game right now, coming off 2 performances of the night.
So round 1, not much so far, Captain. These two just kind of, like you said, feeling each other out, dancing around. Valentina, she's so good at reading her opponent. When you throw anything her way early on in a fight, she's so quick getting your timing down.
Yeah, I think Valentina seems to be waiting on a counter, and maybe Lauren Murphy's doing the same thing, not trying to be offensive. So
it's so dangerous, though, to get in close and into, you know, that in tight range against Valentina with the knees and the kicks. She can hit you with anything, left hand, right hand, everything is a weapon.
Yeah, for sure. They're feeling them now, but once they start, you're going to see fireworks. Those girls, females, they don't back away from the fight.
No.
They fight with like they got something to prove. In some way, they kind of do. Not as much anymore, because I can tell you this week, the hottest topic in wrestling was who's going to be the University of Iowa's women's wrestling coach. So women's MMA and women's wrestling is definitely changed the game, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I mean, slow start for sure for these two. And, you know, Valentina is so methodical. She doesn't just come out and unload and barrage of punches and kicks. She loves to feel that opponent out. She loves to get the timing down, the rhythm of that fight. Can you just talk about what that means as a fighter? You're a great coach, man. But, I mean, it's one thing to say what fighters are good at and which disciplines and which areas, but to feel the rhythm and try to get that timing down, what does all that mean to you when you watch someone like Valentina do?
Yeah, you want to catch that rhythm, and sometimes you want to anticipate their intention. So, anticipate their intention to strike. So, you're a fighter as good as Valentina. You're looking at an elbow raising, a toe moving, shoulder twitch, where you're hitting her before she even lets her strike release from the chamber.
What is her best shot, Laura Murphy? What's her best shot against Valentina?
Well, even if it's on the feet and they're both not doing anything, Valentina's in the lead. She's not trying to take it away from the champion. I would say the best shot would be on the ground. You know, I'm a wrestling coach.
I didn't think you long to say that.
Birds fly, fish swim, and the captain wrestles. So I'm always going to ask to take it to the ground. You can ask John Wayne Lee about that.
How's that going with Sean Wei Lee at Fight Ready, with Henry getting ready for the rematch against Rose? You guys are all working with her. What have you seen? What are you impressed by with her so far?
Well, it's going great. USA and China uniting. It's been, we are one now. The greatest combat athlete of all time, the greatest female athlete in China. Ooh, nice spinning back fist. Followed up by, I want to say, a jab. Valentina's starting to feel it.
Throwing some kicks now. Murphy's, been coming forward a little bit. Valentina seems to have the rhythm down and the timing with the footwork of Lauren Murphy. she's so good at figuring out the footwork and the angles within a fight.
Oh,
And she'll come in and take you down.
Here
She'll
comes the
trip you.
takedown, the body.
Speaking
The
of
body
wrestling,
lock. Right into half guard.
and you do not want to be there. Luckily for Lawler, there's 15 seconds left in the round.
Valentina showing her MMA IQ. Going for a takedown in the last 30 seconds. To ensure the round.
Smart. That's what I'm talking about. How smart she is, making sure that she gets the takedown to leave no doubt in the judges' minds for that one.
Yeah, that round goes to Valentina. She started getting to feel her striking, getting offensive in the last. It looks like Lauren Murphy's got a hematoma over her left eye.
Yes, man.
That is going to cause some problems in the future rounds. And, they're not even putting ice on. They're worrying about the swelling underneath, about the swelling over her eye. And it came from an elbow, it came from the right elbow by Valentina. Ooh, and the left on it. Like Valentina has a bullseye on her eye, and she hit it with a spinning back fist. Wow. Valentina's a smart fighter. I would imagine she's gonna go after that target with Lauren Murphy's left eye.
That's Captain Eric Albano seeing with Beach and Grieshaber here on MMA Weekly. Make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, get the bell so that you know when we're coming live with more content here on MMA Weekly. Hope you guys are enjoying it. In the chat, Ortega versus Volkanovski is the man. He fought Nick Diaz. Slow in his fight tonight against Lawler as we start round 2. 4.5 minutes left. Valentina definitely won round 1, right? I mean, with that late takedown, she started to take control, threw a lot more kicks toward the end of that round. What do you think we're going to see here?
Well,
Murphy looking
well,
for
we're
the
seeing
takedown.
the takedown. Let's see if Lauren Murphy can get this. At least if she doesn't get the takedown, maybe she can keep her on the cage with an offensive underhook, throwing knees and strikes. She's going after the single. She seems to be too tall to have to finish that single. You got to be closer to the lock. The more you separate from the lock, the less power you have. There you go. Okay, she wants to circle backwards. Okay, nice escape. She didn't break that leg out. Valentina with a good escape.
Valentina's so elusive in there too. She can be in tight, close range, and she's hard to hit, but she's hard to get a hand on. A lot of the jabs from Murphy, not even coming close to Valentina Shevchenko. She's just such a polished fighter, man. There's nothing she hasn't seen in there in all those years of Muay Thai and boxing and kickboxing. And, you know, now in the UFC 7 wins in a row at 125. And there's that, you know, she loves to throw that jumping punch running forward. Superman, or Superwoman in this case, right? 3 minutes left in round 2.
She is a superwoman. I noticed that. She was here for a camp with her sister.
Yeah, Antonino at Fight Ready.
Yes.
Fight Ready becoming a huge destination for fighters from around the country like Eric Anderson, even overseas like
From around the world.
The Korean Zombie. I mean, around the world coming to Fight Ready.
We got the Asian connection going on. We got EddieCha.com. We brought in John Wei Lee, Triple C, getting together with Sean Wei Lee. Sean Wei Lee is doing amazing. She's one of the fastest runners I've ever seen.
Wrestling coming in there working against Henry. Valentina getting in tight, looking for another flow here. And she takes down.
Valentina with her own takedown. She's in Lauren Murphy's half guard. John Wei Lee's wrestling is improving by the minute. They're learning so fast. Like I was saying that I've never seen a female or an athlete learn this fast. Right. And my first team was Team O'Gara. We had Minotaur and O'Gara. We had Anderson Silva, Junior Dos Santos, the Pitbull brothers. I coached Triple C, Zombie. John Wei Lee Runs faster than all of them.
That's incredible for you to say that with all the fighters you work with.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to work with. She's definitely the greatest female athlete I've ever seen.
Valentina in top position, just working to find an opening here to get some ground and pound or maybe a submission attempt on Lauren Murphy with a minute 15 seconds left in round number 2. Valentina doing what Valentina does, slowly but surely taking control, working on choke.
I wouldn't be surprised if she slips out of this half round and try to get to a crucifix either.
She's got 7 knockouts and 7 submissions, so equally dangerous as Valentina. Her takedowns are really just vicious and effective. She loves that inside trip takedown, chest to chest, and throw. Very strong. Now she's looking to get to the side here. Side control. Lauren Murphy trying to hold that right leg of Valentina's. She knows if she lets that right leg go, she's in big trouble. In big trouble anyway.
I don't feel like Valentina's really trying to get knee slice and pass that guard anyway. I feel like she would have did it if she wanted to. But the guard's open right now and she's not. So Valentina's not. Her strategy is not to pass half guard, at least not yet.
Nice elbow from Valentina. Under 10 seconds left in round number 2. Lauren Murphy looking like she's going to survive and fight into the 3rd round, which is, an accomplishment in and of itself against Valentina Shevchenko, who ends the round, captain, with a couple of elbows from top position in Lauren Murphy's face. It's a little worse for the wear, as you can see that happens a lot in fights against Valentina Shevchenko.
Well, I would say that for a girl that's, 1900? That is 1900?
Yep.
She's lasted. She's going into the 3rd round. So that's impressive for somebody who's such a big underdog. So pat on the back to Lauren Murphy.
She hasn't really gotten much going in this fight. And she came in for a kick, Valentina with a quick combo. I mean, think about that. For 1 second, Captain, when you throw a kick, you're just throwing a kick for the purpose of throwing a kick. Not a lot of heat on it, not looking to cause damage. And just like that, Valentina is able to hit 1-2 before the kick even lands. I mean, that's just unbelievable anticipation, what she's able to do.
Yeah, in karate they call that Dai. Dai is what I was talking about. Anticipating the intention of your strike. And Valentina seems to be well trained in that.
Starting round number 3 here, Valentina stalked to the center of the octagon like she always does. Hasn't really gotten anything going offensively in this fight. It's so dangerous to even try to get in there and do anything against Valentina. She's circling away, trying to move, find any kind of opening she can against the wall.
Yeah, looking for Valentina to start getting a little bit more offensive.
It's usually her round, the 3rd round.
Yeah, and from seeing her train, she wants to finish this girl. She wants to make a statement. I think it's going to be this round.
Lauren Murphy just ducking underneath the right hand from Valentina. Valentina's in the southpaw stance. Murphy puts some tension. She's got that swelling around and below her left eye, does Lauren Murphy. But every time she comes in, even before she throws anything, Valentina's so quick. Anticipation is so on point. Before Murphy's even throwing shots, Valentina's able to counter it. It seems like Murphy's the aggressor and she's trying to throw the punch, but the counter's getting there before the actual punches. It's unbelievable. Valentina looking to throw that heavy left now.
Yeah, Valentina's starting to feel it. Let's see if Lauren Murphy can respond.
That kick to the midsection didn't feel too good for Lauren Murphy. Got the captain, Eric Albanacine here, live on MMA Weekly. Henry Cejudo still to come. That's right, Triple C will be on live during the title fight here tonight. UFC 266. Good to see all you guys. You got the crew here.
Really nice.
The Bulldog. You got everybody out here having fun tonight, and that was a good kick.
We got Chance here also, budding flyweight out of Hawaii. They call him the Typhoon, but I call him All Hassle No Harm.
All Hassle No Harm.
I named him Hasselhoff, and then I kind of switched it up. I was in Brazil with him. I brought him down there to help train Patricio and Tricky and train at the Pitbull Brothers.
Why do you call him Hasselhoff? I have to know
He
this.
saved the guy on the beach.
Oh, that's right.
The guy was drowning. And he runs, takes his shirt off, and runs into the.
You thought to take his shirt off while he's doing it?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that's
thought I was watching
Baywatch
the
style.
Baywatch. I called him Hasselhoff. And then I switched it up to MMA. I just called it all Hasselhoff. But then Triple C told me and called him Typhoon. So you guys tell me, which is better? All Hasselhoff? All Hasselhoff, which has a story behind it, or Triple C's Typhoon, which is a nickname. When you get nicknamed by Triple C, that's a pretty strong indication.
Wow. Meanwhile, we got just under two. I'm going to go with you since you're sitting here. How about that? All hassle, no hop. And when you say someone from draft, you take the shirt off while you're doing it, that is Baywatch type stuff right there. But Captain Eric, as you watch Valentina Shevchenko, man, and you think about what she's been able to do, every move she makes is just insane with elegance and grace and the anticipation and power. She's so skilled. I mean, I think she's the best, technically the best female fighter in the world. I mean, it's tough to go against a man with her resume and what she's done to every girl she's faced, like Cyborg and Ali and Ronda and Misha Tate. But Valentina just looks so good, so fluid in there.
Yeah, what else is throwing Zhang Lee on? So I haven't trained her. She's got all these type of skills.
That was a tough loss for her.
Athletics, laser focus. Nice look again by Valentina. Lauren Murphy's really starting to feel those leg kicks. Don't be surprised if that head kick doesn't come soon to the side of her head that is where her eye is closing.
And it is closing on her left side. Her left eye, it's swollen on top, it's swollen underneath. It's swollen everywhere right now. 30 seconds left.
Question mark kick could be coming too. I can see Valentina
body shot.
raising that right knee real high up. We got to take that from her.
This could be the third round where she ends with the takedown. Shevchenko, 4-6 of 107 significant strikes. 11 significant strikes landed for Lauren Murphy in 3 rounds against Valentina. And she just doesn't get hit, man. It's unbelievable. It's crazy just watching her. She's so good.
Valentina with releasing the weight and getting a nice right hook in. Grieshaber goes with another nice right. Valentina's right hand tonight has been on point.
Just scraped her
A
on the
little bit
side
of
of
a
the
toe
cheek.
jamboree there.
The kick to the leg. Valentina just vicious, man. You never know what's coming. She's so good at changing levels. You know, she's kicking her in the calf. She's kicking her in the midsection. Then she's throwing the front kick to the face and scraping the side of the cheek with it. Almost, connecting flush with that one. Just
unpredictable.
Unbelievable. She's so good.
Unpredictability at this level when you're the champion. Almost all the champions have a little bit of that unpredictability.
Let's talk about Zhang Weili because that was a tough loss against Rose Namajunas, right? I mean, and Rose is great. The head kick, that kind of fight happens. What do you think she took from that, and what would be different in the rematch coming in November in New York?
I've been training now for a little bit. I believe that this next fight is going to be different. We're making the proper adjustments. Zhang Weili never really had a wrestling coach before. She was a great jiu-jitsu coach with Pedro Jordao, and she's been able to get a lot of takedowns and submissions and finish by ground and pound. And that's without a wrestling coach. Now that she's learning wrestling, be prepared to fly first class on Weili Airlines. And I can guarantee there's going to be a crash landing November 6th. It is possible you might see another KO by Wrestling Slam.
Wow. That was what Jessica Andrade did to Rose Namajunas in Brazil that cost her the belt the first time.
True. Oh,
Valentina slipped. That was a
Was
slip.
that a slip?
It was a slip. Murphy jumped forward and threw a punch.
Vegas.
How did Valentina get out of the way so
Those
fast?
Vegas bookies.
Oh, there's some
Those Vegas bookies.
some deep breaths being taken there, man, for sure. That's a
Their
big
heart
payout.
rates for sure went up.
That's a big payout, bro. That's a big payout.
Hey, anybody, there's always a Buster Douglas out there. Always Buster Douglas as an underdog against Mike.
Speaking of Mike Tyson, Henry on the Hot Boxing podcast, Uncle Mike's become like almost like the guy who everyone comes to see for life advice now. It's unbelievable to see what Mike Tyson's done in his life. The ups, the downs, the peaks, the valleys, all the things that that man's been through and put himself through. He's got so much wisdom and so much to share for Henry to be able to be there and be there with him and contribute to that with his championship expertise and gold medal and 2-division UFC champion. You've got to watch the Hot Boxing podcast. You can't miss that.
Oh, for sure. Athletes become heroes, heroes become legends, and these legends end up doing podcasts.
Just like you right now on MMA Weekly live stream.
Yeah, congratulations, Jay. Congratulations on all the success.
Yeah, you've always been there with me, man.
Since the beginning for me.
Yeah, you've been on a hell of a run, man, these couple of years. It's crazy to think about you watching 2.5 minutes left, and Valentina almost lulls you to sleep and watch the fight. She's putting on another clinic here. Oh, big right hand.
She's
Wow.
Oh my God.
Alex Lloyd Murphy's standing. Valentina takes her down, and now she smells the blood.
Or she could just finish her from straight round and
Shut up. Wow. How is Lauren Murphy's a tough girl, man. She got problems. Wow, Valentina was with an I don't even know how to describe what we
I'm
just
a
saw.
wrestling coach, and I would say not take her down in that situation. She should have. She should have kept it on her feet. Not to say she still can't finish it right now.
Right.
And I think it would have already been over. She would have been getting interviewed by DC by now.
Man, that was a clinic, though. I mean, coming forward with punches and kicks, now just kind of establishing and maintaining that control on the ground. She's done it every round, but I think you're right. I think she had to finish there. She went into all these elbows from the top, though, right into the sides of the temples. And Lauren Murphy, that right side of her face getting beat up.
Here come those elbows.
Oh, this one's over.
It's going to be over.
This one's over. It's done. Had to be. Lauren Murphy had to be saved there. She was, I mean, she took ungodly punishment. Valentina Shevchenko captain. What did we just see there, man? Unbelievable.
I mean, utter domination by one of the greatest, if not the greatest MMA female in the game today. I mean, she's awesome.
Lauren Murphy's face is super beat up, and just wondering why it got stopped. She's asking the ref, but I mean, you talk about those punches that sent her tumbling forward, the kicks on the ground. Murphy's the kick on landed right, and then from there, it almost knocked Murphy down. And Valentina was coming forward to that right hand, and Murphy stumbled a little bit to the head as she came down, and then 4-punch combo. Murphy running back into the cage, hit with another left, and then Valentina took her down. Perfect positioning, and then they started with the punches and the elbows. Those elbows to the temple, captain, just obliterated Lauren Murphy. Elbow punch. Wow, unbelievable, man. That's just.
I feel like Lauren Murphy got hit about 10 straight reps. Really, she took Valentina was like a Gatling gun in that moment. Wow. How many bullets did she shoot? Wow. That was a display of technique and aggression. I think Valentina slow cooked her. First, feeling her out, getting more offensive, minute by minute, and growing round by round. And when you say growing by round by round, she was just miles ahead of Warren in terms of being ready to finish the fight.
TKO for Valentina.
She figured out her distance, her range, and that's how it worked.
Literally all she wrote. Valentina, do you think Valentina's the best technical fighter in the UFC right now? Male or female? I mean, she's got to be up there.
I don't like the mixed male and females.
4 minutes of round number 4.
It's difficult because
Why is it difficult? What are your thoughts? I know you don't like to mix it.
I train females and men, and the flexibility is different. Some of the things that you can do as a female, the techniques are just different. So to say some techniques are, is she the best technician? But there's techniques that women can do that men can do. I was coaching Zhang Wei Li, and she had Rosalina EK, Rosa, another Rose. Her name is Rosalina, we call her Rose. She was helping out train Zhang Wei Li. She was showing a move, and I tried to do it. She's like, "Oh, you're a man, you can't do this move. This technique is for women only because of our flexibility." And I was
So
like,
different
wow.
body types, different
Yes,
styles.
so it's hard to say what technique. Please, could be more technical. I just think that
How about just on the female side? Where do you rank her as far as just overall technique and just being so efficient and so fluid and so good?
I would put her up right next to Zhang Wei Li. Zhang Wei Li is
we're going to see on
very
November 6th
technical as well.
against Rose Namajunas, the rematch. Captain Eric Albansi, before we let you go, more fighters coming to the podium. Triple C is going to come on next. Anything else you want to say before we wrap this up here tonight on MMA Weekly?
I always love those victories because of that dance.
Yeah.
That Russian dancer. She's from Kyrgyzstan, I believe.
Yep.
And she could speak English. She could be She could speak Russian. And then she speaks Spanish. Wow, it's she's amazing on the mic after a victory.
I don't even know who's going to fight her next. I mean, she's just running out of people. It has to be eventually her and Amanda have to fight again. It's something left to do at some point. Unless Zhang Wei Li can win this next one and then come up and have a super fight with her, I'd love to see that too. Either one of those. I've been talking about that for a long time.
Well, Jim, I've known you for a long time as well. You know better than that to say unless. Not unless Zhang Wei Li reclaims that title.
So you're a coach. You can say that. I got to stay objective, man. You know what I mean? I got to walk that line down the middle.
You better walk. That line's right next to me, so be careful. Cross that line.
Captain Eric, I like the shirt, by the way, man. Always looking smooth.
George Abbott.
4 minutes of round number 4. Captain Eric, thank you so much, man. You're always so good to me.
Pleasure.
I love you, bro, and I appreciate you.
I hope you guys enjoyed it. Check out November 6th with Zhang Wei Li and the Great Sprawl of China returns to retake her throne.
There he is, Captain Eric Albansi on MMA Weekly. Mic drop
He
there.
didn't let me drop it.
I got to let him here. You can drop it. You want to drop it? Yeah. Captain Eric, I'm going to try to let him up while I continue here with the show. Oh, watch those cords down there. I'm going to ask him, will you tell him? I want to have to come up there. Yeah. Let me see. All right, guys, here we are. We're still waiting for the podium, too. I hope you enjoyed the captain. Eric Albansi here on MMA Weekly. We're working on getting Triple C, Henry Cejudo, up here for the title fight. And in a couple minutes. Oh, we got to get the captain his. We got a couple minutes till Henry. He can relax for a couple more minutes. We'll have him come up during the main event. If we can get Henry up here. Triple C is in the building, and of course, he's been going at it with Alexander Volkanovski for a long time, man. I mean, just that back and forth with the two of them has been exciting as well. And there we go. Making sure we don't throw the fights in the back of us here. Get ourselves in trouble with the UFC. always entertaining and fun. Captain Eric's been really good to me, guys, for a long time in my career. And I hope you enjoyed it. It's a treat here for us on MMA Weekly. We got the main event coming up. You guys on YouTube, I hope you're enjoying it. In the chat room, if you enjoyed Captain Eric. Man, oh man, unbelievable. We're showing like the features and the previews of this main event right now. We're still waiting. I don't know if Curtis Blades is coming to the podium, Scott, if you can hear me in Vegas. He had a really bad eye, just completely swollen shut in the octagon after that fight against Jairzinho Rosenstrike. And obviously, you're going to get hit when you fight that dude. He's unbelievable. But Curtis Blades was a really impressive and big-time win in the heavyweight division here tonight. And we've got one more fight left. And Alexander Volkanovski, as much as minus 210 favorite over Ryan Ortega at plus 170 or plus 155 as the underdog. Volkanovski is a big performance, and he's taken a lot of punishment in those wins. So when you think of the guys who he's beaten, and the punishment that he took in the two Max Holloway fights, coming back from getting rocked, especially in the second one, early on, unanimous decision in the first one. You know, he hasn't lost. It's Corey Nelson. He met Australian FC 5 in May of 2013. Made a UFC debut. So Yusuke Kasuya, the fight night would have been once in November of 2016. Since then, all he's done is win, undefeated in the UFC. Darren Elkins after Jeremy Kennedy. And where I really started to believe in Alexander Volkanovski was when Chad Mendes came back in December 2018, and Mendes had Volko rocked. And Volkanovski was able to come back after withstanding that and win that fight by TKO in round 2 over Chad Mendes. He literally beat the brakes off of Jose Aldo in a unanimous decision win. Then he beat Holloway for the belt by unanimous decision in December of 2019. And then Holloway again in July of last year to defend it. And a lot of people thought Holloway won that fight. But the more times I went back and watched it, the more I had it in Volko's favor. And the first time I saw it, I was all over, hey, Max won. But then, the more I saw it, wow, Volko really looked good there. And, that wasn't an easy performance or an easy win at all for him. But, maybe the judges got it right. I still think Max won, but it was a lot closer than I originally thought. Meanwhile, for Brian Ortega, he was 14-0 on December 8, 2018, when he made the walk to the octagon to take on Max Holloway, the legendary champion. And Max just blitzed him. I mean, hit him with so many shots. Dr. Stoppage, TKO in the end of round 4. And when I think about what he was able to do in that fight, Ortega didn't quit. But he's got submission wins. He's got incredible ground game. He's got 7 submissions, 3 on the feet or TKO, KO. And when you think back to that fight, he had to come to Jesus with himself after. These guys, of course, coached on the Ultimate Fighter against one another. But to come to Jesus was, hey, I'm changing teams. I'm changing camps. He said he had a lack of direction. There was no real plan. Now there is one with the team that he's fighting now. And when he fought the Zombie on October 18th of 2020, that was just a really complete performance by him. And the captain had said wins on that fight. As the fighters get set to walk out here for the main event, Ortega, Los Angeles, California. 30 years of age. Obviously a first-degree black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And his camp is tight right now. Gracie Academy, of course, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, under Gracie. Just incredible. He gets to make the walk to Octagon right now for the main event at UFC 266. Volkanovski, Ortega. Jim Grieshaber here on MMA Weekly. Make sure you like the content, hit that subscribe bell so you know when we're coming on. Brian Ortega walking out with his team. They have masks on, like the LED light, X's on the eyes. And, this is badass. Fighters getting more and more show, more and more marketing sense every time we see a fight. It's really cool to see what Brian Ortega is doing as he walks out here. Guys, I'm going to take a tiny little break for a second here and see if I can grab Henry to come up. Main event. We're actually having some videos in the building. If not, I'll have an interview with him right after the live stream that we'll post on the weekly where we'll talk about what's going to happen in the featherweight division. Because obviously, if Volkanovski wins, he's going to want to call him out. He'd love to fight Max Holloway too. Either way, we'll have to see tonight whether it's live during this fight or we get an interview with him after. Cejudo is in the building here in Arizona at Country Fights Bar and Grill in Gilbert, doing an appearance. We're coming to the show with him and with Captain Eric, who's doing the dog tonight at Taos, coming to see the combat sports legend, Cejudo. Five fighters. Ryan Ortega, he doesn't have the ball head anymore. He's got the rage. But I got the chance to spend some time with him here in Arizona in May and June. He did the interview with me that you guys have seen all over every place this week on UFC. It was on SportsCenter, on ESPN. It was on about every place that you can find it. Right? When you think about that with Ryan Ortega, the interview that I did with him back in June at UFC 263. And it was in the arenas all week long, him talking about going to war. If you're going to come to war with me, this is not going to be a decision fight. I'll finish you. And Henry Cejudo was telling me earlier, this is the toughest fight to see for Alexander Volkanovski in the division right now because of Ortega's jiu-jitsu. He can finish you at any time, being that first-degree black belt in the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. He stood and he traded with Max Holloway throughout that whole fight. Didn't use the jiu-jitsu at all, but his striking, his positioning, his footwork, and all that was so crisp and so good against the Korean Zombie his last time out. It just leads you to believe that he's a completely different fighter. But he said that was nothing. He was just scratching the surface. He's a good dude. He's focused. I had the chance to sit and hang out with him. Had a couple of events, had a couple of private parties and things that we did just hanging out. He's dating Tracy Cortez, who's a good friend of mine for a long time here in Arizona. So I got some access there, a chance to hang out and, just to talk to him. And just a really level-headed dude, really just calm. His demeanor is that of a champion. And what he said at the weigh-ins, hey, the hell with the belt, man. The hell with the belt. I'm coming to kill you. I'm going to come get you. And that's, to me, what it's all about right there. Belts aside, UFC aside, Ortega just wants to fight this guy now. And Volko kind of got on his nerves leading up to this fight. Ryan Ortega's all set in the octagon, ready for battle. He's got the grades back this time from Los Angeles, California, and parts of the country where they do their fighting in the street. And when you're from a place like that, you've been tested a lot of times there. Ryan T.C.D. Ortega has had an incredible run. His only loss was to Max Holloway. Some of the he's won the fight, and I believe it was in Anaheim on the 214 card, which was Joe DC2, Lawler, and Simone were on that card. I believe Cyborg was on that card, Ridley and Maya were on that card. But the wins, and Ryan Ortega is the first guy to knock out Frankie Edgar in the octagon, the first guy to finish Frankie Edgar by KO and TKO. The guillotine submission over Puff Swanson. The great Clay Guida knockout with the knee. Diego Brandao by submission. Max Holloway beat him by Dr. Stoppage with TKO. Volkanovski gets set to make his way to the octagon. And speaking of making his way, I don't know if he's on his way up here, but the knockout of Frankie Edgar was when I realized Ortega can beat you anywhere. You do it on the feet, you do it on the ground, and no matter what, and no matter where, with Ortega, he can do it. But when you talk about Volkanovski, this dude was a 220-pound rugby player, right? This guy was smashing dudes in rugby. 220 plus pounds. He's fighting at 145. Of course, he's with Junior and Izzy and Dan Hooker, who are already in tonight. City kickboxing. When you think about what Volkanovski's good at, he's good everywhere. He's great everywhere. Obviously, he's had one fight and one win in professional boxing. He's a Muay Thai kickboxer. He's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. But he's just so strong for his size, man. He's like a freaking tank. When he won that Mendez fight, he come back with Mendez boxing a little bit. And then the Aldo, what he did to Jose Aldo, we weren't really sure how good Aldo still was at that point. Aldo bounced back and did after that. But I think about what he's been able to do. It's just exciting for Volkanovski. Whether you like him or not, this guy can beat you anywhere. His submission game's gotten better. He's got just a granite chin. He's got so much power with the punches. Look, whether you think he won the second one or not, Max Holloway has dominated everyone except for when he came up to 55 and fat and fought Dustin Poirier. Everyone. Max has obliterated everyone in that division and made people look stupid in there and silly. That's not me denigrating fighting. The way they looked against Max Holloway during the Blessed era, the only guy who was able to beat him in this division was Volkanovski. And he did it twice, man. He did it twice twice. The last time was on Fight Island last July, and Max came out and really looked good early on. Scored a lot of points with the strike early in the fight, and was able to do a lot of damage. And then Volkanovski took all of it, came back and started turning the tide, especially late in that fight. Was able to get some things done and win that fight, and he got the decision as Volkanovski makes his way to the octagon. He's at the edge right now, getting the gasoline on the face, grease man, taking care of him right now. Just chiseled and ripped, the guy who again was a 220-pound heavyweight, and now is a featherweight, 145-pound champ in the UFC. Think about that. That's absolutely mind-blowing. And I realize now with the bald head how slippery you get with the sweat, with the headphones sliding off right now. This is so much fun, guys. I hope you're enjoying it here on MMAWeekly. Yeah, Captain Eric, I'm about to see it on live. Henry Cejudo's on site right here, and he might pop on here live, and if not, we'll get an interview with him after this fight. Some tournament's going to go on here. I don't know if we're going to see Curtis Blades at the podium, and obviously that was a really good performance by him to get the win over Jairzinho Rozenstruik as Alexander Volkanovski is in the octagon, and from that New Zealand flag, Volker's in the center of the cage, and we're just about ready to go. Ortega 2 inches taller. Volkanovski's got a 2.5-inch reach advantage. This is an unbelievable matchup. Volkanovski, who's undefeated in the UFC. Brian Ortega's only loss in the UFC is to Max Holloway, who Volko has beaten twice, and Buffer's got the mic. We're almost ready to rock here in this main event on MMA Weekly. So happy to have you with us watching live. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. We're going to clean things up as we go, guys, with the sound and with the technical capabilities we have. You're going to see a lot more of this from us. You're going to see a lot more of those interviews like with Brian Ortega and Henry Cejudo. You're going to see a lot more fighters and coaches joining us live during the streams. You're going to see us come with our Fallout shows, have some fighters and coaches and the return of Jeff Kane. And by the way, check out MMA Weekly right now for all the wall-to-wall coverage from Jeff and company of this great event, UFC 266. Buffer gets through all the hyperbole, getting ready to introduce to right now. Brian Ortega and Alexander Volkanovski, Alex the Great, and T-City. Hold on, guys. I got the captain talking here. All right, guys. So I got the word from Henry. Henry's going to do the interview after the fight. So why not? We need to bring the captain back in here. And Captain Eric, I'm glad that you came back, because we were talking earlier about Brian Ortega, and you got to know him out here with Tracy Cortez, and we were all in the same places a few times. And I mean, it's tough for everybody because everybody loved Tracy, but you're the Korean Zombies coach. So what did you see from Brian Ortega in the fight against the Korean Zombie that maybe surprised you? Because he looked so much different, so much better than what people thought he would look.
And he went southpaw. That really that elbow time really changed things in the second round. That kind of changed the whole fight. That elbow really set Korean Zombie for a loop. I don't think he was really there.
There we go. We're trying to move the laptop as Scott's adjusting the camera shot.
Fight-ready connection with Tracy Cortez, so I'm pulling for Brian Ortega. Not to mention, I'm not a fan of city kickboxing.
You do not like the city kickboxing, guys. This goes back to Izzy and Paulo, and I mean, I thought it was more personal with Izzy and Paulo than it was city kickboxing, but maybe not.
Who's his coach again?
Eugene Bierman. I know. You find yourself in the middle of a lot of that stuff.
No, Volkanovski represents city kickboxing in some form or another. I don't see Eugene Bierman in this corner. That could have been because of those COVID rules and regulations that New Zealand has been imposing on their.
It's tough to train over there.
Yeah, they say that their gym, city kickboxing gym, is moving to the U.S. and one where. Could be Arizona. We got all the international connections.
John Wei Lee training and fight with you and Eddie Chapa, Santino, Henry.
Lee, the Mongolian Nightmare.
Typhoon. All hassle, no
All
harm.
hassle, no harm. Chance EK.
Ryan Ortega looks good though. He's loose. Anytime like you see how his Instagram, him and Tracy are really in love, that new love, and sometimes people might think that might be a distraction, but it looks like he's handling it pretty well.
I thought we might have saw Tracy Cortez in the corner.
It works for Mike Perry, and Tracy's actually a UFC fighter, rising star in 25 years. Volkanovski, though, man, he's got a great chin. He's taken a lot of punishment against Mendez and against Holloway, and then come back and find a way to win. But he's super strong. I mentioned Captain, he was a 225 rugby player. But Brian Ortega feels comfortable on the feet. And Henry and I were talking earlier about how one slip up anywhere in this fight, and Ortega can just submit you like that. He's that good.
If you notice the first 3 strikes, or 3 out of 4 strikes that have been thrown, were kicks by Volkanovski. So I could see the game plan is touching him over these kicks. Inside kick, outside kick, left body kicks. He hasn't really even thrown a straight right yet.
No. And Ortega switches in that southpaw stance, so switch stances a lot. He did that against the Zombie. He really looked good on the feet against the Korean Zombie. I didn't expect him to have as much success as he did in that fight on the feet. And he really feels comfortable there. And he learned a lot. I mean, he took a beating against Max Holloway. Let's face it, right? And Max has done that to most people, except really Volkanovski, who has that great chin. But Ortega's got the power. Remember, he was the first guy to knock out Frankie Edgar. Coming forward is City with that right hand jabbing.
I'm liking what I'm seeing from Ortega.
He looks comfortable in there, really calm and poised. He's always been that way. Really cool. He's got that LA cool, right?
He's anticipating that left kick now. He's still maintaining the southpaw stance when he just switched. Ooh! Volkanovski with a straight right. Which screen should we be looking at?
Any of them, probably right here, because the camera's here, so probably right ahead of you, like right up there, kind of straight kind of thinks, oh, Volkanovski just took a left from Ortega that might have done a little damage. Again, he's a super tough dude. Alexander Volkanovski, I mean, he isn't that likable. A lot of people don't seem to really like him all that much, you know. But man, I'll tell you what.
A lot of people don't seem to like who?
Don't seem to like Volkanovski all that much.
He's got a show called Football Revolt, I think it's called.
It's not bad.
I've seen it a couple of times.
He doesn't care if you like him, though. He doesn't care if anybody likes him.
It's not that I think he's underestimated as far as his personality. I don't think you get the real personality. Met him in Australia. He seemed like a cool guy. That was before seeing him start getting active on Twitter. They got a beef on him. He might be coming back to C4. He calls Alexander the Great, Alexander the Average.
Volkanovski landed a right and just missed with another one. Under 2 minutes left. Volkanovski's starting to throw now.
Average right now.
Well, he's throwing a lot of good shots right now. So I think he's figured something out with Ortega's timing. So now City might want to mix it up a little bit. It's a chess match back and forth, man. Can you talk about that? What that's like to make adjustments on the fly in there for the coaches and for the fighters? What are you looking for when you're looking in from the outside of the cage and telling your guy or girl what to do and adjust as the fight's going on?
Well, a couple of things. You would tell them to, look at them, but listen to the corners. And if the corner is seeing some things that the fighter needs to adapt to, they can let their fighter know in the cage. Well, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of times your fighter should be well prepared and know how to adapt on the fly. And sometimes you just don't have to say nothing. There's fighters that you can tell them anything, they're still gonna do what they want. And there's other fighters that will do everything you say like a video game and you're the joystick.
Volkanovski's got a little bit of a cut and some swell under the left eye. Ortega landing early. Volkanovski started to throw a lot more volume, landing some punches here. That's Captain Eric Albancin. I don't think I say his name.
Straight left. by T-City.
Yeah, landed clean. Brian Ortega feeling good on the feet.
Starts coming straight forward. Maybe it didn't affect him, or maybe it did. A lot of guys that like to strike will put themselves right back in the fire.
Alex landed a jab right down the middle on Brian. Doesn't really look like he's taking any damage. T-City Volkanovski's got the mouse in the cut under his left eye. Ortega catches a kick, thought about going for the takedown, but the threat of the right hand from Volkanovski backed him off of that. And that's the end of round number one. Volkanovski's got a big cut under the left eye, a little bit of swelling under the right eye. Also, Brian Ortega, some pretty good success on the feet captain in round number one.
Yeah, Brian Ortega seems to be getting the flow. He seems unburdened. He seems free to do what he likes. And, I don't know. I see a little bit of body language from Alex Volkanovski that I'm not liking.
No,
so
and
he seems a little bit tired.
He seems a little tired, but remember against Max Holloway, especially in the second fight, Max really dominated round one, and then Volkanovski got a second win later in the fight. But he did land, and showing a replay now, Volkanovski did land one really good right hand. Boom. The temple of Brian Ortega.
Yeah,
and Ortega has a little blood too.
One thing we know is Ortega can take a punch.
Yeah.
The amount of damage he took from Max Holloway was unbelievable.
Oh, man.
It's going to be hard to knock out Brian Ortega. I think he's starting to grow. He's starting to feel it.
Did you give Ortega round one?
Is that round one or two?
It's round two right now. It seems longer, right? Yeah.
Wow.
That was one round, bro.
That was just one round. I give it to Ortega then. For sure. Ortega won that round. Look at the damage he did to Volkanovski's eye.
Both eyes.
Ooh.
Especially that left one, which is cut, and both of them swelling underneath. Volko looks fresh, though, coming out, throwing kicks, throwing some punches. He's got that tank the last few days. Ortega does too, though. I mean, neither guy's going to wear out. I don't think in this fight. I don't think either guy's going to wear out.
I didn't get to hear what Ortega's corner was saying, but I would say be ready for those kicks, whether it's catching them or looking for a takedown off one kick. Kickboxing strategy is a high kick count. I would like to see Brian Ortega catch the timing on one of those kicks and take down.
Oh, nice kick.
Nice kick.
Took out the back of his leg and spun him around. Ortega's really changed a lot as a player. He does not have real direction or purpose. And you can see they have a solid plan. He's staying within himself. He's not forcing anything. And you know Volko's not going to do that anyway.
Ooh.
Nice combo from Ortega.
Again, this time with the right.
And the left
He's in an
hook
orthodox stance.
Switching stances is T-City.
Switch stance again.
Volkanovski relentless, though, continuing to come forward. Strangely, he has the reach advantage. Ortega looks so much taller, longer legs, but Volko's got those long arms.
I feel Ortega might catch Volkanovski. Volkanovski's putting himself in fighting distance, putting himself in the fire a lot.
Kicks.
Nice jab by Alex. If there's one thing guarantee is Alex Volkanovski is he going to be in shape.
Oh, yeah. Can you believe he was a 220-pound dude playing rugby and he's fighting at 145? That's insane.
Yeah, that's a dedicated athlete, that's for sure. That's why he's a champ.
Look how well put together he is. Look at his legs. You know, those legs are like tanks, man. His legs are like tree trunks. So Ortega's a little bit longer in the legs. He's throwing some pretty good leg kicks, Volkanovski has. Ortega's face is a little more damaged in this round. Oh, there's a nice combo by Volko. And again, he like, Volkanovski has success.
I think I would like to see Brian Ortega making a little bit trench game, a little bit more dirty boxing, and even look for a takedown. He shouldn't be striking, just pure striking.
Just boxing, yeah.
Too predictable.
Boxing, kickboxing so far is all it's been, really.
Even just getting to a more a top one and some knees and some elbows. would help out Brian, but he's being too predictable. Here we go. That was a chance to get a collar tie on him.
Brian coming in now, being a little bit more aggressive, coming into the pocket. Volko tried the leg kick, Ortega with a counter right that grazed him.
Yeah, those leg kicks are adding up.
This has been Volkanovski's round so far.
Brian Ortega's going to really start being immobilized by these leg kicks.
That's a city kickboxing thing. You see that every time they fight.
Yeah, they have a high low kick count. Touch him up.
That's what Izzy was doing to Paulo in that fight. A lot of kicks to the legs, taking the legs from underneath him. They just down the leg.
Yeah, Paulo definitely hindered from those low kicks.
You can see the leg of Ortega. The leg of Ortega, the inside of his left thigh's got a big bruise on it. See those legs getting peppered up, and the legs of Volkanovski again, they're just ridiculous. They're massive. So much power in those low kicks, Captain. But Volkanovski's got a lot of blood coming down from his left ear or his right ear and his left eye.
Wow, that's interesting.
See it? That looks like it's behind me.
Well, I might want to target that some more. There you go. Head kick.
Take looks strong and fresh. So does Volko.
Yeah, these guys are definitely well trained, well prepared.
10 seconds left in round number 2. It seems like this is the 4th round. There's been so much action in this fight. Diaz and Lawler was the same.
Is it the 3rd or 4th round?
Staring each other down at the end of round 2,
yeah,
coming right at each other.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, I like that, right? Neither guy giving an inch to the other. Somebody said something the other guy didn't like, Captain. But that definitely felt like it was Volko's round. I would give round 1 to round 2 to Volko. How do you think?
I would agree. I like Volkanovski in round 2. The high punch count, kick count, those low kicks are starting to do damage to Brian Ortega's legs, immobilizing him. You know, maybe Volkanovski's has got a second win, like you said.
There's your gene right there, on the right.
I do see him. So, yeah, wow. That's why I thought he wasn't embedded or something. I found good after the game, but they're from different countries. So, yeah, he would have had to Eugene Barron.
This fight was supposed to happen in one. No, you said you didn't see him. He was there. But he was supposed to fight in May, right? And then the COVID thing happened with Volkanovski. They didn't fight then. Round 3. I like that little sportsmanship, though, getting in each other's faces. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Making the featherweight division come alive.
It's a good division. Yeah, Rodriguez, Holloway coming up. That's an exciting fight. I know you know Yair pretty well, too.
Yeah, I like Yair.
Yeah, me too. I've known him a long time. The UFC brought him in when he fought BJ Penn in Phoenix. They brought him into my radio show. I got to know him a little bit there. He was young.
I would just say that when you're in a championship fight, please be smart and bring a wrestling coach.
Yeah.
I don't know why Brian Ortega is not taking it to the ground. His name is T-City for a reason. He's got Henry Gracie in his corner. When are you going to use your strong corner?
He didn't do it against Max or against the
He went right into that right hand by Volkanovski.
Ortega's so tough.
Oh, he hits it again. Oh!
Ortega might be rocked a little bit here, Captain.
Let's see what happens here.
So he keeps switching stances. Now he's looking to get a clinch. Volkanovski's so strong, just throws him right off as he tried for the clinch. And then Volko on the way out landed a left, just a jab. And the jab gets through again. Right now, Volko in the clinch. Man, Volkanovski just gets stronger as the fight goes on. He's just unbelievable. His cardio, he just gets better, and he loves those wars. He loves being dirty and sweaty. And T-City with a big right counter. He's going at it right now. As we approach the 3-minute mark of round 3. What are you seeing?
Wow, Brian Ortega still has a chin.
Yeah, he's getting blooded up a little.
Punch.
Yeah. Wow.
I would love to see him catch one of those kicks and go for a takedown.
He's tried a couple times with the right hand coming in behind it, you know? It's such a weapon for Volko, and Ortega's face is already pretty busted up now.
And he's tried after he gets hurt. That's too predictable. You're not fast. You're falling into it. I need him to use his punches or his kicks to set up the takedowns.
Oh, nice combo by Volkanovski. See the head of Ortega.
Exchange of punches and then go under, shoot your double leg and get a takedown. His third round, if he waits any much longer, he's going to be too sweaty and too fatigued to garner up the energy to change levels and explode a couple of times.
That's leg kick by Volkanovski. Ortega being a little bit more aggressive here, but his face is starting to really show some signs of it.
Yes! He's got it! I think he's got it!
He's got it!
It's time! Oh my God!
Volkanovski's trapped in the choke. Ortega, no time. This is going to sleep, Captain. He's going to sleep. He trapped him with a punch.
Snap!
He got out of it. How did he survive that?
He survived it, but he's still not out of the woods.
Now Ortega looking for his back. You're in a bad spot against Brian Ortega right now.
Wow. Here comes the yes. He's going for a Darce choke.
Oh, and now Volkanovski's on top. Ortega's really blood now. But he dropped him and he went for the finish, and Ortega's now exhausted, eating elbows. That spot for Brian Ortega.
Volkanovski shows his championship medal right here.
Wow, that was unbelievable. In the clutches of a first-degree Gracie Jiu-Jitsu black belt, trapped in a choke, did not get finished. He's unbelievable. Now he's on top, throwing bombs at Ortega.
You might be seeing
Posturing up.
Oh my God, T-City! T-City, they don't got it. T-City going to leave it. I don't see him going out of this one. No way, he didn't got him.
Brian Ortega's got him.
He's got him tight. Look at how much time is left. He's on the street. He's on the street. If he can survive this.
Ortega's got his back. Wow. Unbelievable. How in the world is Alexander Volkanovski? What in the hell?
I think Alex Volkanovski needs to start tonight.
20 seconds. These punches are clean.
Hook and win ball.
15 seconds.
Hook and win ball. He's going to stop it.
Those punches aren't landing, Captain.
He's so cooked up.
5 seconds. He can't stop this. 2, 1. It's over. Round's over. Oh my God. Oh my God. How in the world did Alexander Volkanovski? No.
Are you sure?
Round ended.
You better get out there.
Yeah.
Stop it.
The doctor's checking on him.
Irby's not right next to
He's
him.
in there. Oh. How did Alexander Volkanovski survive those 2 jumps? That's what I want to know.
Wow.
Wow. He was in the
We're just ball tonight, and Alex, the great Volkanovski.
Ortega's face is
I
busted up
was saying
now.
they don't call him TC for a reason.
Look at
But they
Ortega's
don't
face.
call him the great for a reason.
His face happened.
Wow.
That's incredible.
I mean, I've seen them stop a fight. This fight against Max Holloway was stopped before the 5th round.
Yep, this is going into the
Is he
4th.
going to stand up?
He's okay. Man, I don't know how.
I would imagine so. I just want to bring that up that it's happened before. I didn't think it was going to happen now. He had 2 of the submissions. Alex Volkanovski, there's a doctor coming in. Don't you dare stop it. He's ready. Come on, bounce around. Show him you want it. Come on, baby. Let's go. His eye isn't closed.
He's good.
Come on, T-City.
He's trying to
Let's
test
do
his
it.
reflexes and
Let's
his
do it.
vision. He's ready.
Yes, he's ready.
Let him keep going.
Come on, let him fight. Jump up and down. Come on, show him you want to fight.
He is.
They're trying to take it from you. Don't do it around him. You got to jump up and down. Let's go. Could this be what happened with Nick Diaz?
How many fingers? Wow, he's good. He's good. Oh my God.
There you go.
I mean, this is dangerous for Brian
Let's go,
Ortega.
T-City out.
Smell blood, man. Volkanovski right now. This is crazy.
Ortega's got heart.
More heart than you ever
He's got that
imagined.
Mexican blood.
And he's coming out fresh, throwing that jab from round 4. Volkanovski's still being careful. I can't believe Volkanovski got out of those chokes.
Volkanovski's got to be looking to finish him in this round.
2
I
times.
think Volkanovski smells blood.
With a black belt.
There's nothing more dangerous than a wounded animal.
Wow.
And Brian Ortega is one of the most dangerous fighters out there. Will Volkanovski put himself in the fire again?
This is crazy, Captain. Absolutely crazy.
Ooh.
Nice right by Volkanovski.
Volkanovski threw that overhand right with bad intentions.
We're going to sign off right after this fight. MMA Weekly's going to start a new stream for the press conference, and I'll do an exclusive interview with Triple C Henry Cejudo. This is Captain Eric Alvadacin with us live on Jim. Subscribe, hit the bell.
Is this fifth
like
round?
it? It's 4th.
4th?
Yep, and it's been a slow development
No,
round.
this is 5th.
4th.
Why am I so wrong?
Volkanovski's head movement's strong right now. Ortega hasn't had much success on the feet since the first round. But he did drop him last round, which led to that first choke. And now he's in on the takedown.
Get the trip. Yes, get it.
Oh,
Don't let that cage hold you up. Come on.
so strong, Volkanovski.
Ooh, yes.
Oh, he got it. He got it. He's got the guillotine in tight. Oh, he's got it. He got it.
He's using the flat.
Oh.
He's using it. But I don't think it's tight enough. It could be, but it could also blow up his arm.
And they're so sweaty
He
right
might have to roll to the other side.
Wow, Volkanovski got away again. He's unbelievable. T-City had him 3 times.
I know Brian Volkanovski got a good wrestling coach, but who is his jiu-jitsu coach? I want to know.
Wow.
I would love to know who his jiu-jitsu coach is, because
He's so
this
strong.
guy he has escaped really deep in chokes.
And now he's on top throwing elbows at Ortega's head. It's a bad spot for T-City.
In 2.5 minutes, if Brian Ortega used all his gas for that choke, we could see a finish in this fight right here.
Hard to hit on the bottom, Ortega, though. He's got so much heart, too. He took a beating last round. Volkanovski looking for a hammer fist. Ortega's just kind of got those legs up, trying to stop him from
Look
coming
at the corner triangle again.
Wow.
Oh.
Volkanovski sprints down with those legs. And Ortega's so good on the ground with that jiu-jitsu. He's a first-degree Gracie jiu-jitsu black belt, and he's had Volkanovski in position to finish him 3 times with the chokes locked in, and Volko's gotten away every time. This is unbelievable. What a champion, Alexander Volkanovski, and what a great challenger, Brian Ortega. The heart and fight, the years in the cage right now. This is unbelievable. This is fight of the year. This is fight of the year right now.
This is crazy. Hats out to Volkanovski's head coach, Joe Lopez.
Volkanovski throwing shots from way up top now. Ortega's blocking most of them, but some of them getting through. Ortega better do something. He's got those legs into the hips of Volkanovski. It's hitting thighs.
Yeah, Herb was looking at stopping that fight right there.
105 left in the 4th. Ortega's so dangerous on the ground. Volkanovski's standing up. He's not wanting to get down there with him. Now he's dropping down to that knee.
Awesome ground and pound. Great submissive defense.
Wow. Alexander Volkanovski. He seems superhuman. He's undefeated in the UFC. Just Max had him on the feet. Ortega's had him in 3 finishing moves. 35 seconds. We got to see a 5th round in this fight. He's going to let him up.
He wants him up. Oh, Sad. I think he knows he's going to finish. I think he's going to try to finish him right here.
Ortega's wobbly on the feet, Captain.
It seemed like he did not want to get up.
He just took his time. Smart of T-City. He had an extra 10 seconds or so there. An extra breath.
Exhausted. Is that 10 seconds?
10 seconds. We're going to a 5th round. Maybe. Volkanovski throwing bombs, trying to finish this. Jab, 3 seconds, 2. Oh, we're going to a 5th. We're going to the 5th round. Oh, baby. What a fight. Oh, I mean, how much heart does Brian Ortega have? And how great is Volkanovski to escape those moves? And how hard is it for Tracy Cortez to watch this fight right now? I mean, think about that. Ortega's heavy. He's been beaten senseless in there. He's got a big cut over his left eye. He's got blood pouring out of his nose, coming down the right side of his forehead, the bridge of his nose. I mean, it's just unbelievable right now.
Wow. I would love to know what his corner's here. But I'm sure they're trying to motivate him for this 5th round. I don't think that body language makes a lot more positive than what I'm seeing over here in Brian Ortega's corner. Brian Ortega is going to have to show more than heart to win this fight. He's going to have to take risks. In my opinion, he has to get a takedown. He has to get a submission. I don't see him finishing this fight on the feet. Let's go. I don't know. Are they trying to stop this fight again?
No, they can't do it. This is when his fight with Max got stopped. Right here.
I don't know what's going on. Here we go. The 5th round's about to begin. Alexander the Great, Brian T. City Ortega. Going into the 5th round with the great featherweight fights. And definitely fight of the night.
This is awesome. Right here live on MMA Weekly, we got the captain, the coach of the year. And we got a fight for the ages right now. Alexander Volkanovski, the champion, and Brian Ortega, the challenger at featherweight. Ortega switching stances still. He looks pretty sharp considering he was so exhausted at the end of the round. But I still can't believe Volkanovski's gotten away from all 3 of those submission attempts from Ortega. He was locked in all 3 times. And that's a first-degree Gracie black belt. Volkanovski is so strong physically.
By Ortega. Ortega's showing a lot of courage, but Volkanovski's also his tactics and strategies have been really paying off, and he's still charging forward, looking for a knockout. And he hits him with a strong left hook.
Wow.
Another left, a 3rd left, a 4th left.
Ortega looking for a single leg.
Oh. Single leg. Should have stayed on that single leg. He didn't have to go to that waist. Going to the waist at this point in the fight. Wow. He's a little bit too slippery.
Nice left inside, right in the pocket from Volkanovski. So strong, man. I'd have to say this is Volkanovski's fight right now. But Ortega has always got a chance on the feet or on the ground. I just can't believe Volkanovski wasn't able to, or Ortega wasn't able to finish those submissions, man. That's crazy.
Are they calling a timeout?
Timeout, her feet. Oh, there they go. Back to
I think
center.
Ortega needs an elbow. I'd like to see an elbow. Out of Ortega. I think a strike that can hurt Volkanovski.
Nice right from Team City. Man,
Other than that, he's got to get a takedown, in my opinion. He's got to get this to the ground. And employ some of that Gracie Jiu-Jitsu that he's known for.
3 minutes left. Ortega bleeding everywhere pretty much on his face. Just looking with the right is Volkanovski. Ortega lands with the left. Volka just seems to get fresher and fresher as things move on.
You can see the game plan of Volka. Early on, he had a high down. Now he seems to be having mostly boxing.
Oh, knocked down. Ortega knocked him down. Wow. That was a big shot.
Halfway through the 5th round.
This is one of the greatest fights I've ever seen, ever. I say that a lot, but this one's legitimately right there.
Just those 3 escapes by Volkanovski. It's some of the greatest things I've ever seen.
Incredible. And for Ortega just to drop him right there after everything he's taken in this fight, you almost really hope there's no finish in this fight for these guys. Warriors. Be anxious to get Henry Cejudo's thoughts after this fight.
If there was to be a finish, I'd like to see Brian Ortega, the underdog, losing a majority of the rounds, I believe.
Volkanovski's face.
Come back and do something. That would be.
Oh, big right by T-City. Those shots are coming closer. 140. You know the last minute's going to be a war. This whole fight's been a war. Both guys looking fresh. How is Brian Ortega so fresh and has his wits about him the way he does? With the beating
I don't
he's
see
taking.
him being pressured. He needs to have a higher punch count. He needs to get after it if he's looking to not only steal this round, but he's going to need to finish this fight.
Captain Eric, what a treat for us here. Young captain's coming off the camera. 1 minute left in this epic featherweight title war. Volkanovski should have been submitted 3 times.
Volkanovski's looking to wrestle.
And T-City should have been finished with strikes about 3 or 4 times. It's been unbelievable. What a fight. What a treat to have you here with me doing this.
45 seconds, he's going to have to take his back.
Flying knee, left hand from Ortega. Look at his face. Wow.
He has had, Brian Ortega has had late knockouts. Wait, Guida.
30 seconds.
Flying knee. He's going to need something of a Hail Mary in the next 20 seconds.
What a fight. And both guys showing me so much. Amazing. Absolutely amazing, this fight. We have seen one for the ages.
Looks like he's going to be defending his world title.
Oh, nice combo from Ortega. Oh, big right. He's got 3 seconds, too.
Can he get it?
Oh,
he's hurt him.
What a finish from Ortega. Oh, look at these 2 rolls hugging down. Good on them. Good on them. Good on them. I mean, I just clap for that. That's unbelievable.
Brian Ortega and Alex Volkanovski just had one of the greatest featherweight fights in history. A 5-round banger, included 3 the tightest submissions. I don't know how Alex Volkanovski did not have to or go to sleep to any of those.
This will be an I think he will. I think it's Volk personally. Are you?
Cooking with Volk. Volkanovski still cooked him.
How did he escape this choke right here? This one. How did he get out of this?
Even slow cooked him somewhat with withstanding these chokeholds and strangles, allowing Brian Ortega to use up all his energy and empty the gas tank, trying to get these finishes.
Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible fight. So after the decision, Captain, we're going to wrap it up and throw it back to Scott Peterson in Vegas. So just give us your final thoughts on this fight, man, and what a night it's been.
Well, Alexander the Great, I will never call you Alexander the Average. Triple C was you might, but I won't. You did a great job tonight. I was very impressed. The strategies, the tactics, and the toughness and courage to get out of this. Brian Ortega just did a lot of hard.
194 total.
3 times he hurt Volkanovski a couple of times. And he displayed why he deserved to be there in that corner. And let's see what happens right here.
Decision.
So just like I said.
So too. Buffers are not ready to see the result. We're just going to listen here for a second. What a fun. $50-45. I don't see it $50-45. We saw it that way.
Defending his featherweight title.
But Brian Ortega's got nothing to be ashamed of, man. What a war. Incredible. I mean, Volkanovski deserves it, man.